Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Ellie Campster.
And me, Liam Underwood. And in this episode, we're talking about Lumberjanes, Volume 1, Beware, the Kitten Holy.
Ooh.
What could that mean? We'll find out later.
I mean, we already found out. We'll talk about it later.
No, well, the listeners will find out later.
Yeah, you'll find out later, but we already know.
Yeah, but I was using a we as in to like bring the listeners in. So
like
they
a
feel
royal we?
part of it. Yeah, royal we.
Okay.
Yeah. Before all that fun stuff, though, we're doing some catching up in this part of the show. Catching up with Ellie and Liam.
Yep, very good. Oh, Liam, I love that after 3 years, or however the fuck long we've been doing this.
I mean, over 80 episodes now, right?
You're so, like, you've just got it down, mate.
Yep, seamless. Professional is what you might call it. At the end of the day, right, here's the thing. Until we start getting paid to do this, I'm not going to take it seriously.
We're technically amateurs.
Yeah.
If you're not being paid, you're amateurs. I mean, it's all good.
Technically, evidently.
Yeah. Metaphorically, all of it.
Yeah, exactly. What have you been up to?
Boiler broke, Liam.
Oh, yeah, and it
bloody
flooded.
Nuisance,
because the boiler's in your bedroom, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got the, it's not the see, you tweeted that out, and I was going to correct you and then forgot completely about it until you just said that. The boiler is not in my bedroom.
I thought you said to me that it was.
No, the hot water tank for the boiler is in my bedroom. Like, the controls for the boiler are in my room.
Right.
But the boiler itself is in the kitchen.
Okay. And the hot water tank is what exploded?
No, the boiler exploded.
So how did that flood your bedroom?
It didn't flood my bedroom. It flooded the kitchen.
But you were tidying your bedroom?
Yes, because the guy had to come round to sort out the boiler.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
I thought you were like, it's flooded my bedroom, so I need to tidy.
No.
Right.
No.
You explained it very badly.
I saw you got confused, and I saw the tweet, and I was going to correct it, and then, like, I think that was one of the days where I was tweeting a lot for separate issues.
On your own account, not on the Nerd on Nerd account. Yeah.
No, from my own account.
I haven't noticed a lot of action on the Nerd on Nerd account from you. Although, I did notice, right, and this grated me, that you tweeted from the Nerd on Nerd account promoting Tom's new podcast, which I'm okay with. I like Tom's new podcast. It's a great podcast. What I don't like is that you said our friend, but you spelled it A-R-E, which is just like such
I thought you might have picked up on that.
Such a rookie error.
I picked up on it very quickly, and then tried to edit the tweet, and then remembered you can't do that.
No, you had to have to delete the tweet and redo it.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I might as well leave it, because at least this way people will know that that's an Ellie tweet.
Yeah, listeners, if you ever wonder who's tweeting from Nerd on Nerd, I mean, 99% of the time, just guess Liam, and you're right.
But if it sounds like a child has tweeted it...
If there's a -e at the end, that's because I've remembered that that's how I do my tweets.
Yeah.
So that's me.
Yeah.
Or if there's a very obvious spelling mistake that, yeah, like Liam says, a child would have figured out.
Yeah.
That's also me.
Yeah. But I was surprised that you made such a obvious error.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm usually better on tweets because I go back and check them. I think I was just so excited that Tom's podcast was live that
Yeah, I mean, it's a good podcast. I've enjoyed what I've listened to it so far. It's another one of those podcasts where I'm annoyed at how good the idea is.
The worst part... So, listeners, just to get you all... Tom is the other person who's doing another podcast with me and Liam.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, which, news to come.
Yeah.
But he... Just when we were maybe recording something for the new podcast, he was just like, oh, I've done like a little test to see if my mic's all good and all that stuff by just, recording this little podcast idea I've had. And it's bloody genius. The guy's a dickhead. It was meant to be just a test of his equipment, and it's become a full-on podcast because we like it.
Yeah, but now it also means that we're going to network. We're properly going to network. We're going to create a network.
That's the goal.
We need to figure out a name, because I think the
best thing about our network is it's going to be 3 people and 3 podcasts.
It is, right? But I was talking to Kat about this, and I was like, the annoying thing about this is, like, the way I always picture networks working is that you kind of offer people stuff to join. So you're like, oh, look, we've got sponsorships and this sort of thing. Like, we can do cross-promotion. We already have a listener base of X amount of people. So join our network and we can kind of help you out, which is how it should work. But because we're literally launching this network, Kat was saying, well, now you can go to, like, sponsors and stuff and say, look, we have 3 shows with, like, a combined listenership of... And then we can try and get sponsors that way by essentially inflating our numbers. If any people were thinking about sponsoring us, listen to that. Ignore
I
it.
might just edit that little bit out where Liam makes it seem very bad to sponsor us.
They won't listen. We want
Alright,
Fleshlight to sponsor us anyway, so if you're not Fleshlight and you're listening, I mean, we'll still take your money, but begrudgingly.
Yeah, we'd prefer that you were Fleshlight or Adam and Eve.
Yeah,
Just a sex toy company, to be honest.
Any of those. I mean, we just want to try some sex toys, don't we? For free.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but so Tom's got a new podcast, and that was good. We'll get back to your thing you started talking about.
Yeah,
but
we went off topic immediately.
I did also want to say, like, I wanted to talk about the Into the Asylum one because we have now recorded the intro episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I wanted to mention in the catching up with because it's something we did, and we have watched. I think all of us have now watched the first film as well. We just haven't recorded an episode on it yet.
No, not yet.
So do you want to give I know we've maybe discussed it in the past on this podcast, but do you want to let people know what this is about?
Yeah, I can't remember how much detail we've gone into in the past. So we've got a new podcast called Into the Asylum coming out, which is basically my ambition to watch every Asylum film. Asylum are a company that makes sort of, not spoofs, what are they called?
Mockbusters.
They call them mockbusters, yeah. So like Atlantic Rim, Jurassic Land, stuff like that.
Snakes on a Train.
Snakes on a Train is a classic one. Alien vs. Hunter.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I love them. So I was like, we should start a podcast where we just go through the entire catalogue of Asylum films.
Yeah.
And I've somehow convinced Liam and Tom to do it.
So we did an Asylum film on Nerd on Nerd. We did Sunday School Musical.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate it.
It's by a sort of sister company. It's one of their subsidiaries or whatever they call it.
Yeah, we'll be covering it, won't we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I if you give me a list of films and you're like, work through these in order, and the order makes sense, I'm happy.
Yeah, I feel like that's how I got you on board, was I just gave you an ordered list. The idea of me giving you something in order is so appealing.
Yeah.
That you're just like, all right, fine, I'll do it.
Exactly. Well, I kind of feel like as well, like, I could be wrong here, but the way I'm picturing this podcast going, the way, like, well, maybe not picturing, but assuming this podcast will go, you're going to be very much enamoured with these films.
Yep.
Tom, I can see being a whole lot less pleased with it, and I'm hoping to kind of mediate.
Oh, you want to be the mediator?
I'm thinking I'll be in the middle ground.
Oh, see, I've been picturing that obviously I'm going to love it. I mean, I think we're all in agreement. I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
I thought it would be Tom in the middle, and you would just sort of begrudgingly hate the whole experience.
No, after recording the intro episode, I think Tom's going to struggle with this a lot more than I will.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah. Like, I've sat through some real shitty films. So I know that I can.
Yeah.
I think Tom might struggle.
Tom has sat through shitty films as well.
He's not been happy about it.
No, that's true.
I mean, I made you watch 3 Feast films. I can do shitty films.
Yeah, that is true. Tom didn't experience Feast. Tom, we don't know if you're ready for this. Tom also listens to this show, so he's listening to this conversation happen.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, write in and let us know whether you think you'll be the mediator or the disapproving one.
And we'll find out probably quite quickly, because
Imagine if Tom wrote in and said he thought I'd hate it all, you'd love him, and he'd be the mediator.
That would be interesting.
Be wild.
We'll
totally
find out.
View.
We will find out.
So
that's something to keep an ear out for.
Yeah, it'll be coming out. We're going to try and get some in the bucket. Yeah, so that we can have a bit of leeway, because it's going to be monthly as opposed to bi-monthly.
Yeah, and then we will get back to the story that you started, but this does also sort of tie in. I also wanted to talk about since we last recorded, the other podcast that I'm working on with Amanda called Criterion Crack has now officially launched. Our first episode went up last Wednesday. We've already had some really nice feedback from it. Nothing from you, I noticed.
I haven't listened to it yet. I mean, okay, so listeners, to defend myself here, I was going to listen to it, and then what Liam said to me really put me off, which was, I think you're going to hate this podcast. And I said, oh, really? Why? And he was like, it's very movie, like, we're very... And he's right, that is the sort of stuff that can put me off. But it's Liam, one of my best buddies, and Amanda, one of my good podcast friends. And I've had one of them trying to put me off.
No, I'm not trying to put you off. I'm trying to, like, prepare you for it. Because...
Is it because I'm going to listen and get really jealous? Because I'll be like, oh my god, Liam's being so buddy-buddy with Amanda.
I mean, there's definitely that. And also you'll be like, oh my god, this podcast is edited really well, because Amanda's doing all the editing. I think the other issue is, like, so our first episode is about a French film from like 1937, I think.
Oh god, you might be right.
Yeah,
you said it, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
I don't want to do that.
No, and we go deep in. Well,
do I have to watch the film to understand the podcast?
It might help. We have a few people on Twitter and stuff that are actually following along and watching. But okay, I'm gonna read out some feedback we got just to give you an idea of the tone. Okay. Me and Amanda last night recorded our like feedback that's going to go into the next episode. So that is probably going to come out around the same time this is going to come out. So it's not like if you listen to both, you're not really being spoiled by much here.
Yeah, you're not ruining the other podcast for Nerd on Nerd.
No, but this will kind of give you a good idea, right, of what to expect. So Joey from the Zack Attack podcast and the Too Fast, Too Forever, the Fast and Furious podcast, he listened, and he's also planning to follow along by doing all the films.
Oh, well, this is right up their street, isn't it?
Exactly.
He's another one that loves these bloody lists.
Yeah. He messaged me on Facebook saying, "Ha ha, Liam, I love that Amanda's talking about prisoner of war camps, and you're out here talking about busty Nazis with whips in exploitation movies."
It would be nice, I guess, listening to a podcast of two people with very different views on the world, Liam.
Yeah, I mean, one of us has to bring the tone down, and it's probably not going to be Amanda, is it?
No. No, it won't. How many times has Amanda had to say to you, like, no, that's too problematic?
Nothing yet.
I should compare notes with Amanda. Because I think I cut less stuff out nowadays. Back when we first started, you definitely have. Because back in the old days, there were definitely like segments of this show that I was like, I can't let that go to air. And there's nothing major, listeners.
Yeah, just
because now you're all going to be sitting there thinking, what did Liam say?
It's
nothing
not like bad. It's just, maybe I worded things.
Yeah, Liam has a tendency to phrase things badly, as I'm sure you've picked up on, because I do leave some of them in because they're very funny.
Yeah. Criterion Crack launched. Amanda's done a really good job editing. I'm very appreciative. She's very patient.
Alright, fuck off, mate.
Look,
bloody 3 years of Nerd on Nerd. Not once have I been praised for my editing.
Okay.
Amanda and him have launched one episode. Ooh, Amanda's amazing at editing.
Yeah, the reason why, though, is because I'm still catching up. I haven't listened to a lot of your recent editing stuff.
It doesn't get any better.
No, I mean...
Amanda's going to listen to this and be so upset that I've caused another argument based on her.
Yes, she is. I listened to... Okay, in fairness, I recently edited for the YouTube channel our terrible anniversary episode where we did the letters to each other.
Oh, yeah.
And you did a good editing job there.
Was that... Yeah, I added, like, background music, didn't I?
Yeah, so, there you go. There's a compliment.
Thanks.
That you basically asked for.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Alright, so back to your story. So I totally derailed that.
My boiler broke.
And your boiler is based in your kitchen.
In the kitchen.
The hot water tank is in your bedroom.
My room.
Is your room like the bitch room out of all of the rooms?
No. I've got this. So I've got the second biggest room in the house, like bedroom size wise. When I first moved in, like this is back when I was a kid, because I live in my parents' house. For anyone that doesn't know that,
yeah.
I used to have a single bed, and this room was huge, and I had tons of space. Now I have a double bed because when I went to uni, my parents were like, "We might have people staying over, and yours is the obvious guest room."
Oh, they weren't like, "Oh, Ellie, you might, get a partner." And
no. They're far beyond that.
They know what's up.
They know. They were like, "Do you want a race car bed? Do you
want a bunk bed? Maybe is that more your speed?"
Oh, honestly, I'd love a bunk bed.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry, don't get distracted by that. So we got this double bed.
Yeah.
And it's sort of the way my room is set up is that the double bed is basically in the middle of the room. And it means that I haven't got enough space on the end of the bed to get to my, like, clothes drawers thing.
Yeah.
On the other side of the bed, there's not enough space because I've got a cabinet with all my games in it.
Okay.
So I can't get over that side of my bed. So I only have the space that's left where my desk is and to my door. So my room used to be the second biggest. And then my sister the other day when she was back from uni was complaining and talking about how small her room is because she has got the bitch room.
Yeah.
And I was like, to be fair, I think she's got more space than me. And she was like, no, I don't. And I was like, no. Because a lot of my space is unusable.
Yeah. Just from the way the room is laid out. Yeah,
exactly. I don't mind it, though.
But is there any way that... I guess, is it all because the bed's too big for that room now, then?
Yeah, and it won't fit anywhere else in here.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
Because of the way the room is.
Yeah. Okay, so
Boiler broke.
boiler broke.
I wasn't here when it broke. I came home and it had apparently made a load of banging noises, sprayed water everywhere, and flooded our kitchen. Which, you know, it's bad. We had to pay a lot of money to get a boiler replaced.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
No, it's expensive. The worst part, though, was that we were without heat for about a week. And it's been like the coldest week in Britain this year.
There's like snow and stuff, right?
Yeah. So it was literally hell.
Yeah.
Everything's been cold.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare, mate.
But have you got it fixed now?
We now have a boiler again.
And heating?
Yeah. Although I don't have a radiator in my room because it broke like 2 years ago and it just... Because I've got the hot water tank, my room naturally heats up when the heating's on, so I don't care.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's all I've been doing, Liam. I mean, there's been other stuff.
Yeah, like, it's probably too soon for you to review it, but you have been playing a VR game at my recommendation.
I have. That'll be in the things I've done, but not this week.
Yes, that's something to come forward. But I need to see a video that you've made.
Yeah, I'll probably post it online and then we can tweet it from Nerd on Nerd or whatever, or tweet to it, whatever.
Fantastic.
Basically, I don't know if listeners know, I'm terrified of water in video games.
I don't think listeners do know, because I only found this out like a couple of weeks ago.
Really? Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was baffled by it.
It's my fucking... I hate it. I hate water levels in video games. Like, I have what's it called? I learnt the name recently. There's tassilophobia or something. It's the fear of like things being in the water with you, like big things in the water.
I get that. Like, I've seen a picture, right? Like an aerial shot of a boat, and then below it you see the shadow of like a whale.
Yes.
And that is really terrifying.
Yeah. Dude, as a kid, one of my a nightmare I had that genuinely scared the shit out of me was just being trapped in this square room with one door that you couldn't reach because it was so high up on the wall.
Right.
And then the room was just infinitely deep. Like, I couldn't tell how deep it was.
Yeah.
And there was a killer whale and a shark in it with me. And they weren't doing anything to me. They were just swimming around underneath me. And I was like, this is hell.
Yeah.
And
I know.
So video games bring back that fear. Because the moment because in a video game, like in real life, I can sort of be like, there's nothing. I'll still freak out, but I'll be like, there's nothing actually in here with me that's big, unless I'm with whales. In a video game, giant shit pops out from everywhere in water levels, and I hate it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that bit in that level of that VR game, in the video, I'm swimming into that section where the big giant scary thing is. It's not even big, it's just big.
Yeah.
And I look at it, and then in the video I just go, no, I'm fucking leaving this room, and just skip everything in that section and just swim straight past.
Oh, that is not how you play that game.
No, I know. Every other level I explore, but that level I just went, nah, shortest route.
There are other levels where there's underwater bits, but I don't think there's an entire underwater level.
It freaks me out.
There's a boss fight where there's a bit that goes underwater as well.
Oh, that's what I was hoping there wouldn't be.
There is.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's all good, though.
Is it a big whale?
No.
It better not be a big whale. Oh, fuck's sake.
It's not a big whale. It's not a big whale.
Oh, it's a shark or something. I don't like it.
That's fine. You'll be fine. It's all good. I've lost my train of thought.
You went,
Yeah. I was going to say something, and then just immediately it left my head.
Fair enough.
I'm excited to see this video, though.
Yeah,
I remember what it was now. I was reading in PlayStation Magazine that there's a new game coming out that they said, like, in the opening paragraph, it was like, if you like games where the whole purpose is exploring, stop reading now, get this game. And I think it's called Subnautica.
Oh, fuck. I watch Subnautica videos and get scared watching them.
I know, I'm really tempted to get it.
You should, you'd love it.
Yeah, exactly.
I still think it would freak you out, though. That game is a scary game without being scared of water.
Yeah.
If you're scared of water, it's just don't get it, because
the
entire game is based in water.
Well, again, I haven't done enough to review it, but I've been playing Spyro 2 at the moment.
Yeah.
I've preferred Spyro 1.
Ooh.
Because what I don't like, right, is with Spyro 2 you have to pay to unlock these like abilities, and that means that there's certain levels that you can't like 100% on your first playthrough. You have to then go back and do them again, and I just
only
find
a few
annoying.
though, to be fair.
Yeah, and I think I now have all of the stuff, and I've only just got to like the second.
There's only like 3 abilities you actually have to buy.
Yeah, like swimming underwater, climbing ladders.
Yeah, that one's a stupid one.
Yeah, and then I think that's it, isn't it?
Is there like a super headbutt or something, or a super ground pound or something?
Oh, if there is, I haven't got to that bit yet.
Oh, there might not be though. To be fair, I might be making that up.
I'll
Whatever. We're on a reel this episode. We are all over the place. I love it.
Yeah. So to anyone that's trying to like follow this, sorry.
This whole bit of this segment has just been my boiler broke and I was cold, and we have talked about Spyro 2, water levels in video games, podcasts. It's been great.
Yeah, but you've got a tidy room now.
Yeah, my room is actually tidy.
So you said to me at some point that your goal was to keep it tidy going forward now, which you've also said to me in the past.
Yeah, so, it is though this time.
So what's different this time? Like, what's gonna?
I haven't got the underlying depression that comes with being a transgender person that doesn't quite realise they're transgender and can't figure out what's going wrong in their life. Whereas now, I don't have that.
So basically, what you're saying is that now you're a woman, you're going to keep your room tidy.
No, fuck you. Sexism, no. I'm going to make it a mess.
Alright, let me do the sad thing first, and then we can get into kids
God.
stuff.
I made a joke, and then you said, do the sad thing, you dick. You did that on purpose. Right.
I didn't hear what your joke
Ellie.
was.
You know what this is. Liam.
Yeah?
What have you been up to?
Went to a funeral.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that's not great.
I think I spoke on the podcast last October-y time. Yeah, last October. Yeah. I went to Bournemouth to see some family.
Yep, I remember.
And I think I might have even spoke how at the end I was hugging goodbye and I got my Velcro jacket stuck to my great aunt. Last time that'll ever happen.
This isn't fair, Liam. You're not allowed to do this. Because it's mean, because I'll laugh, and then everyone's going to think I'm a dickhead.
Yep. So unfortunately, I found out like a little bit, like a first or second week of January, that she'd passed away, which is obviously sad. It's also really sad because her other half, like my great uncle, I think it is, they'd been together like 53 years, which is a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
So I'm more like, so she had MS and he was kind of her caregiver. And my concern is now very much for him, just like, because I guess his like purpose, like what not maybe not purpose, but he would literally spend his life looking after her. That's now gone, and he's living alone. Like he's got family around, but so we went to the funeral, which was just incredibly depressing, to be expected, I guess, from a funeral. Yeah,
I think if you went with the expectation that it would be like a fun time,
it was not.
You might have been,
yeah. And then like at the wake afterwards, like I overheard him saying to one of his friends, like he got back from the hospital that day, and he had a bottle of pills and whiskey, and it's like, oh, I could just go and be with her. But his son lives like really close, and his son has like 3 kids in that family, and it's like that's the only thing that kind of made me stop and not do that. And like hearing that and being like, oh, I live like an hour away, there's not a whole lot I can really do. Like my mum has said if he ever needs to just get away, she's more than willing to have him at hers for some time, just maybe like a change of scenery might help. But like he does have a lot of friends around, so I am hoping that like he'll start, and he was talking about joining like a bird watching thing. So I mean, you know, he's like 83, so there's only so much he can really do.
I mean, to be fair, I know people that their like other half has died when they're quite old, who have then gone on and just basically gone not crazy, but like go have party times and fun times, and that's kind of wild and cool. So
I'm hoping that's the path he goes down. It was just it was a lot harder than I was expecting it to be.
Well, I mean, to be fair, man, it's like it's someone in your family, even if you're not like super close to them, and
I used to see him like once a year.
October.
So and I am so pleased that I did go in October, because I think there was a point where like Kat couldn't make it, and I was like, oh, do I still want to go without Kat? And I was like, no, I will. I do want to see them because I like spending time with them. So now but it was so weird because it was so unexpected. Like when we saw them in October, they were planning her like 80th birthday party that was going to be this year. So it really did like come out of the blue. But it was, I don't know. It made me think, like, because we had to do the whole like a vicar did a little eulogy, and then you had to sing a little hymn, and then he read like a passage, and I was like, at my funeral I want like none of that, because I'm not religious, and I just think it would be like I don't know, because I've only been to like
mate,
a very
if
few
you
amount
die
of funerals.
before me, if you die before me and I go to a funeral and they try and do any religious shit
Yeah,
that you
you've
told
got
them
stop
to do,
that.
I'm not gonna do. No, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna be like, this is ridiculous, because I
Well-
could see you being like, oh, maybe I'll do a little bit.
No, because the thing is, they started doing the hymn, right? And it was so awkward because everyone was like, it was some hymn I've never heard of before, and no one knew when to start.
Oh,
Yeah, and it was just, I don't know, I didn't like it, and I was like, nah, I don't want to. So I've decided, and I've told Kat this, but she might forget, so I'm going to tell you as well. If
Yep.
I die, there's a couple of things I want. In an ideal world, I know this is hard, I want like the Viking burial, where you put my coffin or something in a boat, set it on fire, and send it out to sea.
yeah, it's tricky because you have to get like,
Permits and stuff.
yeah, and
So-
it's like, you know,
Yeah.
polluting the
If
water
I
a little
can't
bit.
have that, and I'm not rich enough to be cryogenically frozen so they can unfreeze me at a time where they can fix whatever went wrong with me.
even if you're rich enough to get cryogenically frozen, I'll put a nail through your head because the future does not need that, Liam.
It does.
They don't need you coming back.
No, it does. Sponsor us.
What, cryogenic freezers?
No, just sponsor us so I can be cryogenically frozen. So I
Right,
can
got
get
you,
enough
got you.
money to be cryogenically frozen.
I see.
If not, I don't really care what happens to me. I don't care if I'm buried. I don't care if I'm cremated. Don't give a shit. All
Unless
I
it's the
want...
Viking, unless we can get the Viking boat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All I want is, as my coffin's being brought in, I want the Benny Hill theme tune playing,
Yeah.
and I want someone to pretend to drop it.
Can I actually drop it?
Yeah, that's fine. That is absolutely fine.
And you flop out.
Yeah, I think that would be hilarious with the Benny Hill theme tune playing.
No. See, the issue is it would be hilarious for me and you, and
Yep.
you're dead. So it would just be me.
Yep.
Everyone else would be very sad.
Yeah.
Your mum would hate me.
No, because I've told her that I want the Benny Hill theme tune playing and that I want this to happen.
Okay, that's all right then.
Like,
So
everyone that knows
yeah, but see,
me well...
everyone says this and says, "I want to have the funny one," and then when they actually die, like your mum would be like, "Oh yeah, sure, do what you want," but then when you actually died, your mum would be very sad, and she
Yeah,
wouldn't
no,
be like, she'd be
right.
sitting there going, "I really hope they didn't agree to do the
That's
Benny
the
Hill
thing,
thing
yeah.
with the drop in the coffin."
Yeah, she would be very sad. I won't care. I'm dead, and I still want that to happen.
God, yeah, fine.
Yeah. And then, right, so it's we're gonna have a funny opening, but then it's gonna end on a real emotional hanger, not cliffhanger,
Okay.
but like a real emotional point where, so if it was the Viking thing, as the boat is going off to sea with flames going, I want it's an obscure song. It's by this heavy metal band called Dream Evil, and it's called The End, and I want that
Right.
playing.
Okay.
It would be just perfect. Like the lyrics
Cool.
are like something like "Don't you cry, my friend."
Oh, okay.
It's like lyrically
It
it works. Yeah, it works brilliantly, but it's also heavy metal or like power
Yeah,
metal.
got you.
So I would love that. No hymns.
All right, that's fair.
And my mum told me
Yeah.
when she dies, the hymn she wants is "All Things Bright and Beautiful."
That's a good
It's
classic
all,
one.
I remember it from school, so I'd at least sort of know how it goes.
Yeah.
But then she wants like the last song to play to be the "Calling Wherever You Go," which I think is just like super creepy.
It's not. See, we went two different ways there because I was like, "Oh shit," I'd be in tears. That
Would be depressing as hell. But it is also like wherever you go, I'll be there. Is essentially the moral of that song. Which
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I think your mum knows you well enough to know that she definitely shouldn't be with you everywhere.
Oh no, no.
She'd avoid that. She'd be
Yeah.
like, "I'll pop in once a month in the middle of the day." Oh, even that's not safe. I don't know when she'd visit you. She'd be like, "Oh,
No. And
Never.
then Ian, my mum's other half, he wants to film himself
yeah."
DJing so he can DJ his own wake.
I quite like that. To be fair, that's pretty good.
It is, but I just feel like it's going to backfire horribly because if someone has just died and then you have to watch a video of them DJing their own wake,
I love it.
It's
That's
gonna
so
just be
good.
so
I
weird.
genuinely. That's to me. That's amazing. I'm honestly fully on board with that.
Tonally,
that's great.
that is
And then
gonna be
just
weird.
every now and again, just by DJ and go, "I'm dead."
Yeah, that's how I can imagine it being. Or like try and do
Everyone
like
like,
a call and repeat.
Who's dead? I'm dead.
Yeah. So what about? Have you given any thought to how you want to?
I don't want a Viking funeral. I want someone to recreate one of the like elven longboats from Lord of the Rings,
Yep.
and just push me out into a river and then sing that that even star one or whatever it is.
How's it go?
May you see an even star.
Okay.
That
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I want that, and I want everyone to be wearing long white stuff. And then as the boat gets out into the river, I want you,
Yeah.
specifically you, to pull it back in with a rope and say, "Ellie would have hated this. Get her out of the water."
All right. I better stick to the gym then.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll just. My dad's got it all planned. His one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been told if he dies, I have to speak to my Uncle Billy, who has the full plan.
Oh, okay.
And it's a whole, like, everything has to be happy and no black suits, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I might just go fully the opposite way, just fully depressing.
Yeah, just like, I want everyone crying. And I want no tissues.
I want everyone to write down their most depressing song, and I want my playlist of my wake to be just of those songs. I just want everyone to be crying.
Yeah. Everyone to write down as well, like, their happiest memory of you, and also the thing they most regret never telling you.
That's a good one. I'm good with that one. Or just everything you hated about me. Maybe that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Everyone gets over me a lot quicker. I go, what did you hate about me? Everyone's like, oh yeah, Ellie was kind of a dick.
Yeah, I know. Do we really want to be at your funeral for a week, though?
I'll plan it. Mine will be good. I'll do some...
I'll
get canapes.
Brilliant.
That's what everyone needs.
Yeah. No, I like the idea of, like, all wearing, like, long white robes and stuff.
I just like the idea of forcing, like, anyone who wants to come to my funeral who isn't nerdy like us to have to almost LARP.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to think, is there any way that you could get, like, half to wear, like, white robes and then half to wear a different colour? So then you could, like, overlook it and it would sort of be like some warring faction going on.
Oh, I quite like
but
that.
they're fighting over your body.
Yeah, are there any, like... Oh, there's got to be some, like, proper nerdy... Like, the Space Marines have got to have, like, a funeral rite.
Oh, probably, yeah.
I want that.
Probably, like, shooting into space or something, but sure.
I want you to tie my ashes to a rocket, a firework, and just try and get me to space.
Okay.
Thanks, Liam.
I'm sure that'll go well. I just like the idea that you've told me this, but not your family. So I'm there. I'm like, right, where's the ashes? I've got the fireworks ready. Oh dear. So yeah, that happened.
Yeah, not great, but
it was sad. But that's what funerals are.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I did my second ever personal training session with my new instructor.
Yeah, not your second ever, but your second with this instructor.
Yep. I was sick. Yep. It's becoming a trend.
Just stop. Just tell them to stop.
I think my body is saying, this is not for you.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. The first time you did it, when you first started, yes, that was your body going to stop doing this. And then you ignored it.
And it's still, my body is still, as stubborn as I am. It's like, no, you need to stop this. You will never have a body like Zac Efron. I'm going to make sure of that.
I just, like, how does... Because I've been to the gym, like, 4 or 5 times in the past. Yeah. All in a row. It was all very, I'm going to go to the gym, and then I just gave up.
Yeah.
But I didn't throw up, but I was close to, like, maybe passing out or throwing up when I did the rowing machine, and I went a bit too long on it and was like, oh, that's bad. Yeah. But, like, I could feel that I was getting to that point, so I stopped. Does your body just not warn you?
No,
Are you, like, totally fine, and then you just go...
Here's what happened. We did a load of exercises, which were fine. You know, we did them at like a good... For me, it's always cardio. That's the thing that tips me over the edge. So we did a load of exercises. They were fine. At the end, we did something called a circuit, where...
Yep, I know a circuit.
3 exercises, you do one after the other, and then you have a 20-second break, and you do it all again. I did the first circuit and was feeling good. I did the second circuit, and halfway through, I was not feeling good. But not like I'm feeling sick, just like, oh, I'm tired. Like, I'm struggling with this. Third time through, I was really struggling. She was like, all right, I'll give you a 30-second break because you need to just, like, catch your breath and recuperate a bit. 4th time through, it was real struggling. Like, first time I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I was doing all the exercises. And then, like, 4th time through, I was like, yeah, here we go. And that's one done. And that's the second one done. And it was just awful. But I did all that, sort of recovered. And then she was just showing me, like, a few minutes later, just how to use a bit of equipment that was in my program that I hadn't used before.
Were you on the equipment using it?
Nope, I was just watching.
Okay, so that it wasn't like this tiny little bit where she was like, just push this, and you like,
no,
oh, I need to throw up.
No, I was literally just watching, and then my body just went, it's time now. And I was like, oh, sorry, I need to be right back. So that's the thing. If it happened, like, while I was doing the circuit or something, I'd be like, right, I get it, I went too far. But I'd had time to stop. And then my body kind of, like, caught up and was like, no, this was not for you.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I didn't like it.
Well, but that is how, because that's like, it's like with muscles and muscle aches. It's when you stop that everything kicks in and you feel it all.
Yeah, but I'd already stopped for a good, like... So I did the circuits, right? Then I did 2 other exercises that weren't, like, fast-paced or anything. So it was probably a good, like, 10 minutes after doing the circuits.
Those extra bits probably just helped push you over the edge.
Yeah, honestly... The thing is,
Did you tell her you threw up?
Well, no, but I'd already warned her
that's stupid.
I warned her that was likely to happen, and then I thought it was pretty obvious.
You came out covered in sick.
Well, the thing is, like, so last week, my first one, I warned her, and there was one point where my body was like, you need to stop now, and I listened to it, and I stopped, and I was really proud of myself. I was like, oh, maybe I've got this figured out. And then this week, turns out I had not.
And I was really proud of myself. I didn't exercise so much that I threw up. What a good job, Liam.
I listened to my body.
Oh, to be fair, that is an achievement for you, so I'm not going to knock it.
And now she's added me on WhatsApp, and my profile picture on WhatsApp is me in a Zac Efron mask, and she doesn't know about the Zac Efron stuff yet.
Oh no, you've not got to that point.
Well, I was expecting to in my first session, because the thing is, in all of my previous... So I've gone through 3 different personal trainers now. Well, this is my 4th one.
Not because he's so fit, listeners. It's not because he's, like, just beyond their level.
No.
It's because Liam's a fussy little shit.
No, the first one left and did a new job, and I did 2 others as I was trying to figure out who I wanted to go ahead with, and now I'm on my 4th one. So all of the previous 3, like, first session, what are your goals? And I've always said Zac Efron in Bad Neighbours 1, not Bad Neighbours 2, because he's a bit too buff in that. And now I thought about it and I was like, that's maybe unrealistic. So I'd planned, because I'm socially awkward, so I always plan how I'm going to do these sort of things. I planned, if she asks me in my first one, I was going to say, ultimate goal is Zac Efron in Bad Neighbours 1, but in the meantime, I'd be happy with Zac Efron in High School Musical 3.
That seems achievable. Well, like, muscle-wise, that seems achievable.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
No, yeah.
Muscle.
Everything from the neck down. I could maybe get that hair.
No, that's not... Sorry, no. I said muscle-wise. I didn't say you wouldn't have Zac Efron's body. You're 31.
He's the same age as me.
Yes. But he wasn't in High School Musical 3.
No, he was not. He was like 20. 19, 20. But yeah, so I just figured, that seemed like an achievable goal. But that hasn't come up yet. So the whole Zac Efron thing hasn't come up. So she's just added someone on WhatsApp, which is just me wearing a Zac Efron mask with a 30 badge in a Wildcats t-shirt.
Yeah, she thinks you're a creep, which is accurate.
Yeah. Now
it's just usually you like to hide that from the PTs.
Well, that's the thing. Now, right, if it comes up at all, she's going to have like a light bulb moment where she'll be like, oh, the profile picture makes sense.
Oh, mate, honestly, I don't know if you can tell that's Zac Efron's face from glancing at that photo. It's a flat piece of cardboard wrapped round your head.
But then you look at the Wildcats t-shirt and then you're like, oh, it has to be.
Yeah, no, you're right. Everyone would see Wildcats and go, bloody Zac Efron.
Yep. So yeah, that's been my week. There's been lots happening.
Just sadness and vomiting.
Yeah, basically. Sadness, vomiting, and recording podcasts.
Yeah, fair.
It's been busy.
Fair enough.
Anything else for you to add in catching up with?
No, just tweeting about trans rights and stuff.
Yeah, that's
if you want to go listen to me actually be like serious, look at my most recent tweet on Twitter.
It's doing well. Might not be your most recent when this episode goes up.
No, that's true. Cause
unless you pin it, you could pin it to your profile page.
Oh, I probably should actually. That does feel like the kind of tweet I should have pinned up there.
Yeah, it's doing well though. It's done better than any of my tweets have ever done.
It's not doing well. I didn't put it out there to promote.
Yep. This is the thing. This is my issue I have with it, because I've said to you many times now that you should do a little tweet underneath it, which I always see when people go viral. They always tweet underneath with their little link to their SoundCloud.
Yeah. What you're forgetting there, Liam, is those people go viral because they've done things like filmed a dog eating a hot dog and then vomiting out a whole hot dog that hasn't been chewed, and then they go viral and they're like...
Is that a thing that's gone viral?
I don't know. If it isn't, someone should try and get their dog to do that, because that sounds quite cool.
It sounds awful. I don't want to see that.
That's when people are like, oh, by the way, I've got so much attention, follow my SoundCloud.
Yeah.
When you're tweeting about, trans rights, people trying to take those away, that's less of the time where you're like, also go listen to my podcast.
Well, okay, unless...
Right. No, not unless.
No.
There's no. I'm not going to use my trans right tweets to fucking promote the podcast.
Unless what we could do, if you want to, is give like a trans update of how it's all going, because I'm sure our listeners are curious.
As to what how it's all going.
Yeah, because like so
I'm transing.
You're what?
I'm transing.
You're in a transitory period.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So last time we spoke, you were taking the. I mean, the last time we really properly spoke about this was...
Yeah, which is probably a while ago.
Yeah. So has anything changed?
I think I've probably said on the podcast that the NHS are now paying for my hormones.
If you haven't, it's worth
As in,
saying.
I've got it on... I'm on the NHS now, which was a 2-year waiting period, but that's finally over.
Yeah.
Are
you still having the laser treatment?
I need to sort out... I need to move on to the electrolysis, the more painful version.
Are you deliberately putting that off?
I have maybe been putting off a little bit because you have to get a needle jammed in your face and then they zap the hair, which is slightly terrifying.
And you didn't enjoy the last few, if I remember rightly.
I was a big girl and I powered through it.
Yeah, well done.
I just need to do the same this time.
Yeah, okay, good luck with that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, not a whole lot.
Are you
just been getting angrier and angrier about how the world is with trans people.
Oh, yeah, well...
Because it keeps getting worse and worse.
Exactly. I think we're in a difficult time. I feel like... Sort of difficult, and it's this weird like double-edged sword, right, where it feels like there's a lot more awareness at the moment. Like trans rights, to me, it feels like it's not quite trendy, but it's just becoming more spoken about in the last year, maybe 2 years. And I don't think that's purely because I now know someone, so I have like an in to that community. I think there is just like
there definitely there's been a lot. So the issue you've got is, or I say that you've got, the issue that trans people like me have got, is that we've become a very trendy topic for newspapers to report on. Yeah. Unfortunately, newspapers tend to report super negatively about us and try and find the worst things they can.
And then do like fear-mongering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good news is you've got people like, I think people probably saw it because it was pretty fucking big, was H-Bomber Guy, who's a leftish YouTuber who I love, who did a...
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it was a Donkey Kong live stream which he did as a sort of, not as a joke, but he was talking about how he started it and thought he was maybe going to make $3,000 for Mermaids, which is a charity in the UK that supports transgender kids and their families.
Which was in the news just before Christmas because
Graham fucking Linehan is who you might know as the guy that created IT Crowd, Father Ted, Black Books, and a couple of other things. He was pretty big a while ago, pretty irrelevant now, but he has basically turned his Twitter into just non-stop anti-trans and dissing lesbians that do support trans people.
Yes.
By claiming that men talk over lesbians, whilst also being unaware of the irony that he is a man talking over lesbians.
Yeah.
Just, it's a beautiful shit show to watch if you're in... Don't follow him, because... fuck him.
No.
But every now and again pop on and just be like, oh, he's gone crazy. But so H-Bomber Guy did a stream because Graham Linehan had done this campaign to get mermaids. They were going to get funded by the National Lottery. I think the National
Lottery pick a few charities, don't they?
Yeah,
to donate
give money to.
And that was one of the charities.
And then Graham Linehan complained, basically got all of Mumsnet to email them, so they're now reviewing it and might not give them the money. So H-Bomber Guy went, well, fuck it, let's make money for them.
Yeah.
In the end, he made... I think it got to over $500,000.
That's impressive.
It's wild, and the people that appeared on the stream, that Alexandria, the New York Congresswoman who's making waves because she's super fuck the system. She's a really cool woman.
Yeah, she
went on it.
Okay,
popped on. There were the guy that voiced Donkey Kong came on for a while.
Oh, that's cool.
It's wild that someone had done a highlight stream, which is it's a 10-minute video of the highlights, and that's worth watching. My favourite bit in the whole stream was there's this moment where he's just playing Donkey Kong, talking to people, and then he looks at the number, how much he's made, and he's just I've been sort of building a shield and not looking at that number and not really paying attention.
Yeah,
but we've made so much money. And then he just starts crying because he's like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's such a sweet little moment where I was like, I love him so much. And he's proper the way he talks about it, he's like, yeah, there's a bit in the stream where I maybe have a little bit of a cry. But he's a pretty proper leans out of the camera and is like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's so adorable and I love him.
That is such a nice way of turning something so heinous into something really positive.
Yes. And Graham Linehan tweeted about it.
Yeah.
And then in the stream they were like, wait, you've completely fucked up. because that's
It's
what we
more
wanted you to
promotion.
do.
Yeah.
Because every time you tweet about us, we get donations.
Yeah.
And literally, he just gets bombarded daily, Graham Linehan, with, I believe the tweet is, how do you beat bothered beavers, which was one of the levels that he was struggling with.
Yeah.
So now every time Graham Linehan tweets this like mean shit, someone will comment being like, yeah, but shut up and tell me how to beat bothered beavers. And it's great. I love it. And he hates it. It's
Fantastic.
beautiful.
That is good.
So that's good. So there's been... That's the stuff that's been happening recently. I've been well into all that shit, obviously.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's you're getting loads of likes and retweets whenever you tweet anything along
Well, I
those
just did
lines.
one tweet. It was one tweet where I was very angry about Graham Linehan specifically. And the reason I did that tweet was because I was writing a longer one because he'd done an interview and I was complaining about it, but I went over the character limit by a lot. So I was like, well, I've got to condense this into a more sensible thing.
Yeah.
Which was less specific.
Yeah. And what I really liked about your tweet as well is that people were like disputing you on it, and then someone else was jumping in and like cutting them down.
Because I was trying to figure out what to say because I got a bunch of, well, like 3 people being transphobic.
Yeah.
And I was like saying to Liam and Dan, I was like, do I respond to these people or just leave it? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
And then someone that had seen the tweet just went on and said the stuff I was going to say to them, and I was like, sweet, I don't need to.
Yeah, exactly. Which I thought was really nice.
And also, to be fair, the tweet is also saying, I don't need to debate. You can't debate trans rights because you don't get to debate if I exist. Yeah. And then I think the people that were then being mean to me didn't, because I then later went, well, I'm just telling them they can't debate with me, so why the fuck would I debate them?
Yeah,
and I
you
think
can't.
They sort of missed that point.
After you doing that tweet, you can't engage with them because that is like the final word from you.
And also, like, I don't. Yeah, it's great because I don't need to because
Yeah.
they're just completely missing the point of the tweet, which is fuck you. I don't want to debate you about whether I exist.
Exactly.
It's great. So I had a fun time.
Good. And other than that, so far, like, have you noticed any like major differences in yourself during this whole like transition period?
Yeah, there's like physical changes, all that shit going on.
Is that good?
Yeah.
What about like?
That'd be weird if it wasn't.
It would be weird if you looked down and you were like, "Oh, this is not what I expected."
Yeah.
Like, oh, boobs are heavy. I wasn't expecting that.
I'm effectively having the experience of like what you see on TV of the like 90s slumber parties where girls are like, I think I'm getting boobs. I'm having that at the age of 28 or however old I am. I'm like, I think I'm getting boobs.
However old you are.
I don't know how old I am.
I feel like you should.
I'm 20. I'm 27. I'm 27.
Why are you aging yourself?
I went down.
Yeah, I know, but you initially were like 28, so why do you just assume you're older?
Because I'm the youngest one in my friends group, so people turn 28 and then I get confused with whether I'm the same age as my friends or not.
Right, okay.
And the answer is no, I'm technically a year younger.
Fair enough. How are you finding things like the makeup and hair and fashion and all that sort of stuff?
Makeup I'm bad at. Fashion I'm bad at, but also, fuck it, I do what I want.
Yeah. But are you like enjoying having more like freedom with fashion, I guess?
It's not even freedom, really.
Options?
It's just,
is it more options?
I get to wear stuff that feels right.
Yeah, because with men, it's very much like a t-shirt or like a long sleeve shirt and jeans, and that's it. Whereas women have a lot more choices. You could wear smart shirts. You could wear casual jackets. I don't do fashion, so for me,
you can wear vests. There's a lot of choices, Liam. You just don't make them.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like women do have more choices, right?
Well, it depends on what you mean. Like, I guess you could wear a t-shirt and jeans, or you could wear like
a
leggings,
dress,
or a
mini skirt
and a skirt. So I mean, it's like one extra item of clothing you could wear.
Then you've got the shoes. There's so many like choices for women's shoes.
Yeah, but I wear Converse.
Okay.
And at parties I wear heels.
Yeah.
Not high heels, because fuck those little bitches, they hurt.
Okay. But that's something that you get used to, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to build up that ankle strength. I've
got plenty of ankle strength, mate. Get out of here.
Sure. But high heels hurt, right?
They do, yeah.
Okay. Suspenders, that's another option for female clothing that men don't really get.
What did you say?
Suspenders.
What? Suspenders were originally a male item? Oh, do you mean dungarees? What do you mean?
I think, what are the stockings?
Oh, you're talking about like hold up stockings and
aren't they called suspenders?
Yeah, sorry, I thought you meant suspenders that you wear that attach to your trousers. I was like, why is that?
No. Is that what they're called? They're like the lady stocking things. Are they called suspenders? I don't know.
I've heard them referred to as hold up stockings or something like that because they're held up, or you can get thigh high ones.
Okay, that's an option.
I also don't know. There's too many choices, and I don't like it. You're right, Liam. There's too many choices.
There's so many.
All I know, Liam, is I like dresses, I like wearing a dress. Sorted.
Perfect. What more do you need to know?
Exactly.
I got through that dress wearing phase when I was like 10.
Yeah.
We've discussed it on the podcast. I'm sure we have. Christmas nativity play where I was one of the maids of milking.
Yeah, maybe you've mentioned it.
For any listeners that are lost, I'll very quickly catch you up. When I was 10 years old, my school was doing the 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah.
And everyone could be
Not a play. That's not a play.
No, I know. I'm very aware. I volunteered to be one of the maids of milking, and how that worked is we all came out in these really like frumpy, heavy dresses, and like pretended to milk cows and all that bullshit. And then Girls Just Want to Have Fun came on, and we all like ran down the aisle to the back of the hall, whipped off our frumpy dresses, put some makeup on. Underneath, we had these slinky little numbers, ran back up onto the stage and did some like dancing. So yeah,
It's very progressive of you, Liam.
Thank you. I honestly don't know why I volunteered to do that looking back.
Yeah. It's not... I wouldn't picture you doing it.
No, I wonder what my mum was thinking at the time. Oh, I was a fruity little kid. She probably thought it was fine. Well, maybe not fine, but expected. Honestly, you should see some of the pictures from that era.
Please send me them.
Nah, that's not a good idea.
I won't post them anywhere.
No, but I would.
Oh, right.
Because I'd be like, this is hilarious. And it's a terrible idea. The internet does not need to see that.
No, fair.
Is it time for my favourite part of the show?
Yeah, I think it's Liam's favourite part of the show. Liam's been to the cinema. Here are the spoiler-free reviews of the things that he's seen at the cinema and other things that aren't necessarily the cinema, but things like TV shows, maybe comics, maybe books, who knows. Books!
But first...
Sorry, we were on video chat and he showed me a book. I didn't just shout books.
Yeah, no,
like
it was a very specific book. I'm teasing
yeah,
you
it was a
for
very...
what's coming
I don't want to
later.
ruin it.
No. First, I went to cinema to see The Favourite. Which
this is the one with... I can't remember her name. She's great. I love her.
Olivia Colman.
That's it. She was great at the award show.
She's
also used to be in Peep Show and shit.
Yeah, and I think because of that, a lot of people our age, British people our age, have a kind of like just an affection for her because they're kind of I knew her, like I watched her back when sort of thing.
Yeah, and she's done like a fair bit of other stuff where she's like she was in Broadchurch, wasn't she?
She's been in loads of stuff. And she has started getting like she's obviously got this role, but before that she was getting smaller roles in bigger like Hollywood productions. So I'm just going to run through like her IMDb for some of the things that you might have seen her in. She was in The Crown.
Yeah.
She was in Broadchurch, like you said. She's been in lots of TV stuff. Obviously, there was Peep Show.
Was she in Hot Fuzz?
Yep, she was in Hot Fuzz. She was in... What am I missing? Bear with me. There was an American film that I watched recently that I was surprised to see her in just a time. Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was in that. So she's getting like... She's starting to get roles there. She's getting loads of like buzz at the moment for her role in The Favourite. She won a Golden Globe, I believe.
Yeah, and she was very like. If you haven't seen her acceptance speech, it's worth watching because she's just like genuinely happy, and I think she calls her co-stars her bitches or something.
Yeah, I think So The Favourite is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos.
Should I know him?
Maybe not. He's directed. He's right. The first film of his that I saw was a film called Dogtooth. And he's from Greece.
I've heard of Dogtooth.
Yeah, I watched it like the first time at uni and maybe spoke to you about it then, perhaps. And since then, so he's done other films you might have heard of. He's done a film called The Lobster.
Yeah. Which
Olivia Colman was in that. It's also got Colin Farrell in it. And it's got Rachel Weisz, who is in The Favourite as well.
Yeah, I know. I know her.
And he also did a film that came out 2 years ago now. That again got a fair amount of attention called The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
That one doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, that also had Colin Farrell in it. Had Nicole Kidman in it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's started doing more like. I don't want to say wider appealing films because they all have an odd touch to them.
Yeah, because from the trailers of The Favourite, it looks pretty good, but it does look like it's quite odd.
Yes, this is probably his least odd film I've seen.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that's interesting about this to me is The Favourite seems to be getting a lot of attention and a lot of people are going to it, and they're probably people that maybe aren't familiar with his previous stuff, so they aren't necessarily going in expecting it to be as odd as it is.
Yeah.
Because there are definitely moments in it that are unusual. I'll put it up. But like I said, it's his least unusual of the films he's done. It's also got Emma Stone in it, and she's fantastic. She's really good. The thing about The Favourite, the performances are good, and the story is fine. But I think because this film specifically has been getting so much like buzz around it from the award ceremonies, I maybe was expecting to be like really impressed by it, and I kind of ended up just thinking it was okay.
Okay.
Like the performance is good, the story is fine. I think the other issue is the trailer kind of shows all of the funny moments, and it's almost being like marketed as a comedy.
Yeah, which I was assuming it wasn't.
No.
Or not a particularly.
Yeah, and it's a shame as well, because you see in the trailer Olivia Colman do like these quick like mood changes where she's playing this queen and she'll be happy, then just like really raging at someone. And I kind of wanted to see more of that.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot of it in the film, like what you see in the trailer. There's a little bit more of that,
moments.
but yeah, it's like she does give a really good performance, but I don't know, I'm really pleased for her. I was just expecting more from the film. And I think the reason why I'm kind of explaining this so much is because the film is fine. My issue is entirely down to my expectations, I think.
Which is this isn't me being a dick. This is a common thing with you.
Yeah.
You set your expectations and
I think because
don't meet them all.
Yeah, because I follow like a lot of like film people on Twitter.
Yeah.
I kind of start seeing these things like getting buzz and getting momentum, and then I watch a trailer and be like, oh, that does look really good. And then when you go in and like the best bits are the bits that are already in the trailer.
Yeah, well, that's always annoying anyway.
Exactly.
When a trailer's just all the good bits, and you're like, well, no, don't do that.
Yeah. So for me, and I think the other thing is, I like it when Yorgos Lanthimos does the weird stuff. Like, out of the films that he's done that I've seen so far, The Killing of a Sacred Deer is still my favourite, and that is bonkers. Like, everyone in it gives their dialogue in this really like weird, stilted way.
Oh, okay.
And it takes like a good like 15-20 minutes to kind of be like, oh yeah, this is a deliberate decision that's been made here. I kind of just have to go with it. And I kind of liked that about it. And then it just tells like this much darker story than what I think you get in The Favourite. And I think the thing is, I think that film matches the director's tone better from what I've seen than what The Favourite does.
Got you. Yeah.
There are
this is almost like easing people into his work.
Yeah, like one of the things he does is he'll show like a long take scene where maybe there's not a particular lot happening of interest, but the music will be really tense and like ramping up, and the music will be really dramatic, which makes this what would be an ordinary, maybe like even dull scene. It adds this element of like anticipation to it, and he does it in The Favourite, and I'm like, I get that's your thing, but I've seen this been done more effectively elsewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
So for me, it's a 3 out of 5 for The Favourite.
Okay. I think it's one that I'm probably going to watch when it comes out on DVD.
And I think you should. I'd be very curious.
Yeah, I definitely want to because of all the buzz and.
Yeah, exactly. Next, I saw Glass.
I really want to see this film. I'm going to try and get out this weekend, maybe, to see it.
So you got around to seeing Split eventually? Because I know when we just... Oh, you haven't seen Split yet?
I'm going to see Split before I go and see Glass, yeah.
Alright, so I think at this point I can say this, but
it's part of the trilogy. That's because the big spoiler for Split is that it is part of the Unbreakable Glass trilogy.
Yes.
You
that
can
was
say
the
that
twist.
because he's in the trailers and I know that he's in it.
Exactly. That was like the big twist of Split, which is why I think when it came out, I listened back to my review recently because it's on YouTube now, and I was saying to you, like, you need to go see it before the twist is revealed because the twist will get revealed.
Yeah.
Because I know when I saw Split in the cinema, that twist happened, and Kat sort of turned to me and was like, I don't really get that. And I was like, oh, this is why that's amazing. Yeah. And then I don't think she either hadn't seen Unbreakable at the time or she'd forgotten that she'd seen it.
I saw Unbreakable when I was a kid. I saw it far too early.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really understand what was happening, and it spooked me a lot. But then I rewatched it and was like, oh, I really like this film. It's a really good film.
It's interesting.
It's not amazing, but it's like one of the like earliest superhero films that was...
Yeah, and the twist of that
like...
film is that it is a superhero film, which is interesting.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So with Glass, obviously, picks up from Unbreakable and Split. I'll try and be vague if you're seeing it soon.
Yeah, please be vague.
Again, it was okay. The issues that I had... Unbreakable is obviously all about David Dunn, Bruce Willis's character.
Yep.
Split is all about Kevin Crumb, I think his name is, which is James McAvoy's character. So you would think Glass would have a primary focus on Samuel L. Jackson's character.
Mr. Glass, or whatever.
Yeah, Elijah, I think his name is.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But it's not really.
No. I'm assuming, from what I've seen, is that it's going to be this weird trying to focus on all three of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it comes down to, I think, it's a better idea than it is a film.
Yeah.
And so have you seen the trailer for Glass?
Yes, I have, yeah. It was probably a while ago. But
So there's a scene, and I think there's even a poster of this, where you have the three of them in front of, like, a psychiatrist.
Yes, and the room's, like, all pink, right?
Yeah.
Or something in there. Yeah,
exactly.
There is a poster, and it is in the trailer,
Yeah. I wanted much more of that sort of stuff. I don't think we got nearly enough of it. The ideas that they're exploring in that scene are really interesting to me, and I just wish that the film had kind of like really run with that idea instead of doing what it ended up doing. The twist in the film, because obviously there's a twist. It's an M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah, it's an M. Night Shyamalan film. Saying there's a twist is not a spoiler.
No. I'm waiting for the film where the twist is there is not a twist.
Exactly.
Because I think that's going to be his final film. Will be like something devastating happens and you're just sitting there and you're like in tears and you're like, it's okay, it's an M. Night Shyamalan film, so there'll be a twist and it'll all be alright. And then he'll appear on the screen and he'll just go, there's no fucking twist. That happened.
Credits.
And you're like,
I mean, that has just reminded me as well. So he does like to cast himself in his films.
Yes, isn't he in like almost every? He's
I
like,
think so.
He's like the driver in Signs and all that kind of shit. Yeah.
Like Hitchcock used to have a little cameo in all of his films, but it wouldn't be a dialogue cameo.
Yes, no, Shyamalan does give himself dialogue.
Yeah, and his scene in Glass is not good. I mean, Tarantino does this as well, right? And like Tarantino's scene in Django Unchained was awful. We're talking same levels of bad here, I think.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't think he's doing as much of a terrible accent as Tarantino was doing, but it is. Oh, it's not a good scene.
Okay.
It's just really heavy-handed, and there were several different directions that this film could have gone in, and I just feel like they all would have been more interesting than the direction it did go in.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, because it's Shyamalan, I'm not expecting it to be an amazing film, because
that's
other than like Unbreakable and Signs, which are like I think
Sixth
probably
Sense.
is two. Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, and Sixth Sense, obviously. Yeah. But like since then, I love the guy, but he hasn't done anything mind-blowing.
No, so
all his stuff is very Shyamalan-y, and you're like, it's enjoyable. I'll watch it, but I don't like care.
Yeah, he is one of the few directors where I've actually seen pretty much all of his films. There's one film, his first film, he doesn't want released, and someone has put it on YouTube. But I haven't watched it. Yeah, but I've seen all of his other films, and yeah, you're right. Like The Sixth Sense, Signs, Unbreakable, they are the best. It's weird because he had like really good films, but he's also had some like really terrible films.
He was The Happening, right?
The Happening, Lady in the Water.
I've never seen the Lady in the Water, but
The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah, well I'm not going to watch that.
And this one is quite divisive. It didn't work for me, but a lot there's enough people that do like it that will defend it. The Village.
Oh yeah, I've seen The Village, and yeah, I can't remember if I loved it or not. I didn't hate it though, so maybe I'm just in the middle on it. Like, yeah, it's fine.
There's two. So he did The Visit that I actually didn't mind.
I don't think I've seen that one.
And he did After Earth.
Ooh, have I? Is that the Will Smith one?
Yeah, with his son Jaden Smith in it as well.
You know what? I don't think I've seen that one, and I don't know if I knew it was Shyamalan.
Yeah, it is.
So it's got a twist in it. Bloody hell! Turns out they're on Earth all along. Don't say anything because I'm pretty positive that probably is the twist, and I don't even know what the film's about, but I guess it's probably Earth.
Yeah, so back to Glass. I
Yeah, sorry,
wanted
yeah.
more for Samuel L. Jackson to do in it. I just... The film at times seems like it's going down these interesting paths and then doesn't and goes down other directions that aren't as good. The twist is terrible. M. Night Shyamalan's cameo is terrible. It's not great. It's just... It's not terrible. Like, I maybe have really oversold how much I hated it there. It's just average. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And I had higher hopes. Because the other thing, if you've made a film like Unbreakable and then, was it like 17 years later or 18 years later or something, you do Split, and then you're like, oh, now I'm doing Glass next. In my mind, I'm like, oh, you must have a really good story you want to tell here.
Yeah, that's been in the works for...
Yeah.
So the discussion I've heard is that the idea that Split is in the same universe as Unbreakable almost felt like an afterthought. The fact that it's just the surprise twist at the end. I've heard people be like, is it just that some exec or him himself went, you know what, if we make this part of Unbreakable, we can do a sequel.
Okay, so I read an interview with him that gave the production history behind this.
Yeah.
When he first wrote Unbreakable, he had James McAvoy's character in Unbreakable.
Oh, okay.
And the idea was Samuel L. Jackson's character, Mr. Glass, was essentially like manipulating that character, and that character was going to be like the big bad for Bruce Willis, David Dunn to fight. But he realised that it was too many characters. He couldn't quite make it work, so he cut that character. Later on, he wrote a film around that character and shot the film, and then took a really small crew, phoned up Bruce Willis, got Bruce Willis for a day, rented out one location, and just filmed like what is essentially the final scene in Split.
Yeah.
Which links it. And what is interesting there is Split was made by a different studio than Unbreakable. So he showed them like the first cut, and they went, we love it, but does this mean we've now made a sequel to a different company's film?
Yeah.
So to do Glass, they had to work out the legalities between those two studios.
Yeah, geez.
So it was not a studio decision. It was 100% like a...
It was him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like, yeah, so if you're going to have that long of a gap, make sure you've got like a real good story you want to tell.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And I just...
And for there to be that gap between the first one and the second one, and then not a huge gap between the second and the third, like, that's even more like...
There should have been a better plan in place.
He almost could have left a longer gap here and gone... Because then everyone would have been like, oh, cool, this trilogy is like playing out over however many years.
Because that's the other thing is, between Unbreakable and Glass, that period of time that has passed in the real world has also passed in the film.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, and also what is quite interesting as well, I thought, is they used some unused footage from Unbreakable to do some flashbacks in Glass.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I liked that. And they also bring back the same kid that played his son in Unbreakable.
Again, that's cool.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool stuff in it. It's just not as good a film as it should have been.
Exactly.
Bloody annoying.
So it's another 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
That's it for cinema reviews.
Okay.
Got a book review though.
Yeah, you showed it to me at the beginning.
Yeah. It is High School Musical, Tales from East High, number 3, Poetry in Motion.
It's sort of depressing that you're only on book 3.
I know. When I was looking back at my Goodreads account, book 2 was reviewed last April. It was a big old gap.
Wait.
House of Leaves is a big part of that.
That's fair. Yeah, I can't really complain about that because I did the same thing.
Yeah. So do you want to give our listeners the background to why I'm reading these High School Musical books, if we've got any new listeners?
Isn't the backstory literally just that I was trying to get you something for your birthday a couple of years ago, and I happened to be at a jumble sale? No, I found them online. I bought those ones. Those ones were maybe secondhand, but I bought them online. And I just got Liam the first 5? First 4. I bought Liam the first 4 books from a High School Musical series of books that were made however long ago. Because they were going to be shit. That was the whole point. They were just going to be shit. It was a shit present.
Yeah.
And then recently I went to a jumble sale and found a bunch more of the books.
Yeah, thanks for that. So special editions as well.
Yeah. It's great. So Liam's just been sort of over a period of over a year working his way through them.
Yeah. And they're not like, they're not particularly complicated.
I believe
reads.
book one was shit.
Book 1 was Battle of the Bands, and
you didn't like it. There wasn't enough original music in the book.
There was
listeners,
not.
you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm leaning into the mic and putting like a face like, Yeah, it's a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Book 2...
Book 2 was called Wildcat Spirit, and it annoyed me.
Yeah, okay.
Because Gabriella is just the worst in it. Because basically, the story of book 2, right? And just for any listeners, this part of the show is normally spoiler free. With these books, I do spoilers. Just prepare yourself for that.
Yeah.
If
any of you out there are actually trying to read these books and get spoiled, just shut up about it. We don't care.
Yeah. In book 2, so basically it's Spirit Week at East High, but Gabriella overheard her mum talking about potentially moving again.
That's right.
Instead of just talking to her mum about it, she spends the whole book moping, and then at the end you find out she misheard, and her mum's just visiting. Yeah, she's not actually moving.
Like, Gabriella, why have you been so sad for 4 weeks?
Talk
and
to
she's
your
like,
mum about
we're moving away. And her mum was like, no, we're not, Gabriella.
Yeah.
Go back to school.
Yeah, ridiculous. So I think both book 1 and 2 got low scores. Like it was like 1 or 1.5 out of 5, right?
And surely, Liam, book 3 follows that trend. Surely.
Here's the thing.
Yeah?
I actually quite liked book 3.
The thing I'm interested in here is whether book 3 is actually better, or if you hated House of Leaves so much anything would have been good.
No, I think it is better. So here's the other thing, right? Book 1 was written by N.B. Grace, and one of the issues I had was the characters didn't feel like they spoke authentically. Like they didn't feel like the characters from the film that I love.
Know and love.
Then book 2 was by Catherine Hapker, and again, similar issue. And Gabriella is a bit mopey in the films, but in the book, it's just amped up way too much, and it's ridiculous. Like if this was in the film, Gabriella would have a little solo song where she'd sing about it, and then she'd get over it. You wouldn't drag it out for the entire film. Oh, that'd be insufferable. Book 3 is written by Alice Alfonsi, and I think out of all of the authors so far, she is closest to nailing their tone. Also, Kelsey gets a little bit to do in book 3, which I like.
Good, she deserves it.
And Martha does as well. Martha actually gets maybe one of my favourite bits. Martha.
Who is Martha?
She's the one that loves homework, but also she loves to pop and lock. She loves hip hop.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know her.
Yeah. I think the other thing that really helped with book 3 is there is music in it.
How?
It's called Poetry in Motion. The basic premise...
well, very quickly, is there music in it, or is there poetry in it?
Well, there's poetry, but it's musical.
It's poetry, Liam.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Alright, the basic premise for book 3 is their English teacher has given them an assignment. They need to write an original poem, and they need to perform it in front of the school, and someone is coming to judge. And
I'd honestly hate to go to whatever East
High.
East High. Yeah. Had an extra word. I'd hate to go there. Can you imagine? Just some random fucking class in your school is doing a poetry competition, and for some reason you have to go and watch it.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Ugh, I hate it.
I love it. Yeah, and then someone is going to be judging these as well. Now, here's the problem. Is it a
surprise? Is it someone that we know?
No, it's not. It's an original character.
Oh, okay.
Here's the problem. When Chad was younger, he had to do some performance of some sort. It might even be poetry in front of the school, and his trousers split, and he's mortified, and he has horrible flashbacks, and he is just adamant that he's not going to do this. Here's the problem with that. If he does it, he's going to flunk the class. Here's the problem with that. If he flunks the class, he can't play basketball.
I hate it so much already.
Why?
He plays basketball in front of all these people.
Yeah, but
I've seen the films.
It's different playing basketball and reciting poetry.
Why doesn't he just wear basketball shorts? Is that the fucking solution? Is that what they do?
So,
and Liam, I swear to fuck, if the solution to this problem is that Chad wears basketball shorts to do this, I'm going to be so annoyed.
The solution is amazing, but before we get there, my only criticism about this book is Sharpay's inclusion feels like a little bit forced. Like they were like, oh, well, we need to put Sharpay in. Sharpay is just terrible at writing poetry.
Oh.
What a surprise.
So she sung Huna Nuka Nuka Apple Art.
Yeah, she did.
It's one of my favourite songs.
She did, but she didn't necessarily write it, did she?
How dare you?
So what Sharpay does is she enlists Kelsey to help her, and they do.
She cheats.
No. They do like a joint poem, like the two of
You're
them
allowed
together.
to join.
Yep. You're allowed to do that.
Well, Chad can just do that. Chad needs to shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
the poetry teacher thought it was a great idea to have them
Fuck off. This is
team up.
School has no standards.
So I am going to really spoil this by reading out the final poems as well.
Please do.
Um,
All of them?
yeah, why not?
How many are there?
There's only a few. So, I'm going to read it. I can't wait. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So I'm going to give you the setup as well. So Miss Barrington is the teacher. Miss Barrington motioned to the wings for Sharpay and Kelsey to step out. And now for our first Renga, which is what you call when it's like a group.
Right, cool.
Announced the teacher. Here are Sharpay Evans and Kelsey Nielsen with their poem, Step by Step. Sharpay strutted out with a beaming grin, wearing a sparkly silver dress and a glittering pair of high heels.
Of course.
Kelsey followed with her head down, clearly nervous. Her outfit...
Oh, fuck off. Kelsey ain't nervous. When are these books set?
No, they're set, I think, definitely before number 3.
Oh, okay,
I think maybe even before number 2, just after number 1.
All right, fair enough. Well, Kelsey was probably nervous back then.
Yeah. So Kelsey followed with her head down, clearly nervous. At one point, I think Kelsey gets described in the book as mousy, and I did take umbrage to that on your behalf. I thought that was an unfair description.
Yeah.
Her outfit was the complete opposite of Sharpay's. Cargo pants, combat boots, and a flannel shirt.
Combat boots?
Yeah.
Did she wear combat boots in the movie?
Well, together they moved to the standing microphone. Then Sharpay gave a high kick and her voice boomed out. You can picture it. You can picture it.
Yeah, but she's wearing a sparkly dress and sparkly heels, and she did a high kick.
Yeah.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
impressive.
What way was she facing?
Alright, so here's Sharpay's part of the poem. Shoes, how I love them. Let me count the styles. Mules, pumps, slippers, slingbacks, leathers, and crocodiles. This is what I was saying earlier about there being so much fashion choices for women.
Just because you read this fucking book. Sorry, what crocodile shit?
Fuck knows. I don't know.
Just leather? I don't know. Carry on.
Kelsey's quiet voice came next.
What voice?
Quiet voice.
Yeah, fair enough.
March, always steady, through rain and sleet and snow. Boots, thick, solid, sturdy. That's the soul I show. Soul spelled S-O-L-E.
This poem's getting an F.
Sharpay did a few dance moves and crooned.
Of course, it's poetry.
Heel, toe, step, ball chain, legs lighter than air, tap, jazz, ballet, ballroom, dance without a care.
This is a bad poem.
Kelsey spoke. Stride, every morning, through my day I move. Streets, curbs, lawns and gardens, I push, I strive, I rove. The girls continued to alternate stanzas until the very last one. Feet, always moving, Sharpay recited. But can you tell me why? The path you take is yours to make, Kelsey said. Don't let life pass you by.
No, fuck it. That's bullshit. That's lame, and I hate it.
The moment they finished, the auditorium broke out into spirited applause.
No, they didn't. One kid in the back coughed, and everyone else just sat in silence.
So, that was Sharpay's and Kelsey's poem.
It's bad, and I don't
loved
like it.
So Martha isn't in this English class, but the basketball group are just really struggling. None of them want to do it. Chad has basically talked all of them into thinking it's a terrible idea. Troy is the only one that's like, no, we have to do this because we can't all flunk.
Classic Chad.
I know, classic, right?
Doesn't he do that in what's the film where I really hate Chad because he's just, is it 3?
Or is it
where
2?
They like team. I don't know. I don't think I like him in 2, but I also think I don't like him in
2's the
3.
one where Troy becomes a bit of a dick and starts hanging out with like the college basketball players, and Chad's like,
and Chad's
"Oh yeah,
whining
you go
a
hang
bit.
out with your new friends."
But then doesn't Chad in 3 like? Don't they spy on Troy and they?
Oh no, that's in number 1.
Is it?
Yeah. Where so Chad doesn't want Troy to be in the Winter Musicale, so he sets up the camera. Yeah, I think if I went on Mastermind, my like specialist topic would have to be these films.
Yeah, I think you do really well.
Yeah, thank you. So Martha's not in the group, but she's trying to show the basketball guys how cool poetry is. And all right, genuinely, she's kind of talking to them about how like you can get like hip hop from poetry. Like rap is essentially fast poetry, right? And this is my favorite bit in the book.
I can't imagine. Now, see what you said there, Liam, is very cool, and I imagine that what they wanted to write after that was a very like actually cool poem, and like something where kids would read it and go, you know what? Poetry is kind of badass. I've got a feeling it's not going to be that.
Prepare to eat some words. Okay. There's a new character created for this book that is not in any of the films. Character called Betty Hong.
Okay.
She's with Martha at this point. I'm going to give you the setup and I'm going to go into the poem.
Yeah.
Betty Hong closed her book and leaned close. Taylor McKessie told me all about it, she whispered. Betty told Martha about next week's poetry reading assembly and how Taylor was trying to help half the starting basketball team locate their muse. Because obviously Chad doesn't want it coming out that they're doing this poetry thing, and he especially doesn't want it coming out that he's getting Taylor and Gabriella to help them with it.
Sorry, you said the whole school were going to be watching the poetry thing.
Yeah, it's assembly.
Well, yeah, so what does Chad mean? He doesn't want people to know they're doing the poetry thing. When he does the poetry, everyone will know.
He does not want people to know, though.
Chad's just oh God, I hate him so much sometimes.
That's totally fresh, Martha cried.
Oh my God, I hate it.
I'll be honest, they haven't got Martha's tone down brilliantly.
No.
Too bad I'm not in Miss Barrington's English class. Betty made a face. You like that poetry stuff? I thought you were into maths and science. I like
she's
it
also
all.
into popping and locking.
Yeah, I like it all, Martha replied. I like astronomy and hip-hop.
Oh, so cool.
Betty rolled her eyes. Not hip-hop again. Word, gal, Martha replied.
Oh my God.
You know I've been busting out kicking rhymes for years. It helps me remember lessons, like last night's astronomy lecture. No, Betty said. You didn't make up a rap to that. Just watch, Martha cried. Leaping out of her chair, she began to chant freestyle. This is the best bit of the book. At the
I want that to be written there.
At the centre of
brackets.
Stop ruining this beautiful poem, Ellie. Jesus.
Sorry, go on.
At the centre of our system is the molten sun, a star that burns hot, Fahrenheit 2,000,000,001. But the sun, he ain't alone in the heavenly sphere. He's got 9 homies in orbit, some far, some near. Old Mercury's crowding in about as close as he can. Yo, yeah. Merc's a tiny planet who loves a tan. Some kids around Martha heard her rap. They really got into it, jumping up from their tables to clap and dance. Now,
and dance?
You've seen the films, you could see people doing this. The beat was contagious. Martha started busting some moves herself. She kept the rap flowing, and more kids joined the party. Venus is next. She's a real hot planet, shrouded by clouds, hot enough to melt granite. Earth is the 3rd planet from the sun, just enough light and heat to make living fun. Then comes Mars, a planet funky and red, covered with sand. The place is pretty dead. Jupiter's huge, the largest planet of all. Saturn's big too, but Uranus is small. So far away, the place is almost forgotten. Neptune's view of Earth is pretty rotten. And last but not least, Pluto's in a fog, far away and named after Mickey's home dog. Yo, that's all the planets orbiting our sun, but the Milky Way galaxy is far from done.
Oh, fuck me, is there more?
No, when Martha finished her freestyle hip-hop flow, the entire cafeteria burst into wild applause.
No, they didn't. Again, no one made any noise, no one was dancing and clapping, and one kid in the back coughed quietly. Now, I have a few issues with that, Liam. The sun isn't molten, it's plasma.
Okay.
My other issues are that she says she based that entire rap on a whole astronomy lesson.
Well,
was the lesson literally just a teacher going, right, here's the solar system, Mercury's pretty close to the sun, Venus has got clouds and it's hot, Earth is our planet, Mars is all lonely and dead, Jupiter's big, Saturn's big too, Uranus is smaller, Pluto's far away. Is that what he said? Because that's shit.
Oh, I think, she said, she made this rap as a way of remembering the lecture. So I feel like she didn't write down what he said, like...
Well, that's not great, because she's going to be sitting in exams, and they're going to be like, oh, how far away is Neptune from the sun? And she'll go, pretty far away.
Yeah. You say that right, but, okay, I don't know a lot about American history, but thanks to Hamilton, I can tell you a fair amount about Alexander Hamilton, so I feel like it does work.
Alexander Hamilton was pretty old. Aaron Burr was pretty old. Everyone had a duel. The end. That's the equivalent, Liam. That's what she wrote. It's just planets are small. Some of them are big. A couple.
Yeah, but
are
she
close.
said which ones were which. I couldn't tell you which planets were big and which were small.
Yes, you could.
I could tell you some of them.
Yeah, because you know the rap.
Yeah, exactly. I've learnt it. Okay, so all this is going on. I bet you're wondering to yourself, what's happening
really
with Gabriella and Troy right now?
I'm wondering to myself, when's this going to end?
This might be one of our longest reviews yet, and I'm sorry, but also I'm not. The thing is, if you're going to make me read these books, which you are, I'm then going to make you listen to me.
I'm just buying them for you. I'm not demanding you read them.
Yeah, but you know I will. I'm going to make you listen to me review them in detail. So, Gabriella and Troy's story that's going on in this book. Obviously, Troy is very concerned that the basketball team don't want to do this, and he doesn't want them all to flunk and get kicked off the basketball team. He has enlisted Gabriella's help to help them write poetry. Gabriella has also enlisted Taylor's help. No.
Okay.
So they all go over to Gabriella's house. Nope. Not at all. Just for anyone that is listening, Ellie is making crude gestures on video.
I'm not.
This is High School Musical.
Slander.
It's pure. So they've all gone over to Gabriella's house. Troy has already started writing a poem. He accidentally leaves his poetry book at Gabriella's house.
Oh no!
And she shouldn't look at it. She shouldn't.
Which you can. It's poetry.
She does.
It's not a diary.
She does.
Yeah, fine. It's fine. He's going to read it in front of the whole school.
The poem is called Ariel by Troy Bolton.
Arial.
No, Ariel.
Oh, that's
Ariel,
a name, isn't it?
Like the mermaid.
Please tell me it's a poem about the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, no. I'm going to read you the poem. This isn't the poem he performs at the end, FYI.
Gabrielle.
No. Alright, there we go.
Oh, I'm so upset.
When we're together, my pulse races, and I love to visit our favourite places. Higher and higher, we soar as one. Nothing on earth will stop our fun. When I'm down or lonely, I roll with you and smile. You take me to the limit, you lift me, aerial style. Right, so here's the thing.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah?
Did Troy just misspell Ariel?
No. Here's the thing. Remember how
Am I spelling Ariel wrong?
Ariel, right? Let me just explain. You know how in the last book I said the issue is Gabriella jumps to this assumption and spends the whole book thinking that assumption?
Yeah, it's the exact same thing because it's going to turn out he's talking about basketball.
No, he's not.
Or his dog? His mum?
No. So here's the thing.
Sister.
She definitely does misunderstand. She thinks he's talking about this other girl called Ariel, and then she's like seething at him, and he doesn't know what he's done wrong because she just is not confronting her problems. It's a recurring issue with these books. She needs to learn this lesson. Please feel free to keep on guessing what Ariel actually is about.
Well, it's not. You said it's not basketball.
Nope.
It's not. Is it a part of his family?
Nope.
Oh, is it just? Is it her?
Nope.
Oh, I don't know then.
Ariel is the name of Troy's skateboard. Oh dear.
I fucking hate this so much.
Do you?
Hate it. Yeah.
Do you really? So,
I do.
Gabriella has been stewing on this.
I mean, to be fair to her, that poem does not sound like it's about a skateboard.
She initially was going to write a lovely poem about Troy, but then this happened.
Did she do a diss track?
Her poem. Okay. Right. So they do also tie back into the... You know in the first film she sort of had stage fright?
Yeah, I remember that.
They sort of tie that back into it. Again, I'm going to give you like a load of pre-ramble before we get to the actual poem.
Wonderful.
You're welcome. And now we have our next poet. Miss Barrington glanced at Gabriella in the wings and nodded. Gabriella Montez. Gabriella swallowed nervously. She wiped a wet palm on her green velvet skirt and forced herself to stop gripping her notebook page so tightly.
Wet?
Yeah.
I've never described a sweaty palm as wet.
As she walked toward the standing microphone, a bright white spotlight nearly blinded her. She could only make out the first few rows of seats, but she'd seen the assembly hall before the house lights were lowered, and she knew the place was packed.
Sorry, I know you don't like me interrupting, but that is literally just the scene from High School Musical 1.
Yes. Don't think about that. Think about something else, she quietly told herself. But what?
I am.
For a moment she closed her eyes. That's when she knew what to do. Just pretend you're reading the poem to one person, she told herself. Just pretend you're reading to Troy. She cleared her throat and began with the title. Honesty, she announced.
She needs to just shut up and go. This is stupid. I hate it so much.
Her slightly shaky voice echoed through the dark assembly hall. The single word and the long silence after it made the students in the audience sit up a little straighter in their seats.
No, they didn't.
Then
None of them were paying attention to the poetry.
Then Gabriella began to recite. Now, let me just bear in mind, okay? One, Troy doesn't know that Gabriella has read his poem about Ariel.
Troy's just going to be sitting there going, what the fuck is this poem about? I just want to talk about my skateboard.
Yeah, Troy doesn't know that Gabriella is absolutely seething with him. So just imagine hearing this poem, but from Troy's perspective, okay?
I'm getting myself in the mindset. I've just written a poem about my skateboard. I'm so proud of my skateboard poem.
Yeah. You ready?
Yep.
I see you there in front of me. Your face, your hands, your eyes. I hear you talk. I hear you tell. Your hopes, your dreams, your lies. I walked with you a sunlit trail, together hand in hand. Then twilight came, and you were gone, and now alone I stand. The woods are cold, the trees are black, the dark is closing in, and you have gone away from me, your faultless light has dimmed. Betrayal is an empty space, raw night, cold room, alone, and no one can redeem your face. Sweet night, safe light, you're gone.
Chad. Who's she talking about? Chad, you got to help me. I think she's mad at me. I don't know why. Because I'm just so excited to do my skateboard poem. I don't know why she's so angry at me.
I love it. This book was so good. Okay. It's
so
so good. You have to understand how terrible the first two books were.
I mean, I will admit this sounds better than the other two.
It really does. So, here's the thing. Troy didn't read Ariel in front of the school because he worked with the basketball team. They did a Renga, which is a group poem, as we discussed earlier.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. So after they perform.
Yeah, are they going after Gabriella?
No, they go after Sharpay and Kelsey.
Oh, okay.
So when Gabriella, then Sharpay and Kelsey, now it's the basketball team. Okay. And now for our final poem, we have another collaborative effort. Here are Troy Bolton, Chad Danforth, Zeke Baylor, and Jason Cross to perform Poetry in Motion. Now, let me just explain to you one thing before I get into this.
Oh my god, they're going to pretend to play basketball on the stage and do poetry.
Not pretend. Why I love this is because it is so High School Musical. Like, I can read this and picture this happening in a film. It's brilliant. It's just like, it is such an on-point solution to this problem. So, the boys came out as a team, dressed in their Wildcats uniforms, using
he's wearing the bloody basketball shorts, so he doesn't split his pants.
Using tightly coordinated basketball moves, they passed the ball as they moved across the stage. Then Troy began to dribble the ball, keeping a steady beat. He bounced the ball lower and lower, the other boys bending low with him. Finally, they began to recite, "On the ground, we are bound, we are lower than down." But the sound of the ball, bouncing small, growing tall, as they recited, they lifted themselves up higher and higher until they were standing straight again. Help us move to a groove and a beat we approve. Before long, we're bouncing up higher than the sky. Before long, we're soaring, defying gravity. Troy passed the ball to Jason Cross, who kept dribbling with a steady beat and began to recite solo. In school and at home, I'm just a nice guy. But on the court, look out, I'll make you cry. I'll slip and slide, I'll ice you out. No, you can't touch me, that's without a doubt. Slip move, duck right, lay up, rebound. On the court, my feet don't touch the ground. Jason passed the ball to Zeke. Then Zeke began to dribble and recite. Cooking's my thing, in the kitchen or court. Laugh if you want, 'cause I'm a good sport. Don't mess with me when I got the ball, 'cause you'll be heading for a mighty fall. Fiery hot, no one can stand my heat. When I'm in the game, all others look beat. Zeke shot the ball to Chad, who immediately began to dribble and rhyme.
Please say his shorts rip.
In homeroom and in class, yeah, all around, everyone knows me as the high school clown. Sure, I like a good joke of any sort, but my clowning ends when I'm on the court. There it's all business, and I'm something more. Ain't no one better when I want to score. With a broad smile, Chad confidently passed the ball to Troy. This is going great, Troy thought, and we're almost home. I'm captain of the team, and it's intense. Before the game, I want to hop the fence. Then the whistle blows, and I'm in the game. That single sound melts down my doubt and shame. The change complete, I'm king of every court. Me and my team, we never come up short. Next, Troy passed the ball around to all his friends, from Jason to Zeke to Chad, and back to Troy again.
Right, well, Troy didn't pass the ball around to all his friends. Troy passed it to one of his friends, and then they passed it on. He didn't pass the ball simultaneously to all his friends.
Then all the boys began to chant, "On the ground, we are bound. We are lower than down." Come on, join in, Ellie. You know how it goes.
No, I fucking hate it.
Before long, we're bouncing up higher than the sky.
We're soaring.
Before long, we're soaring,
Flying.
defying gravity. Through the air, not one care. Yeah, this feeling is rare. Through the air, not one care. Yeah, this feeling is rare. Through the air,
Oh my
not
god,
one care.
Too many rhymes at the end.
By the middle of Poetry in Motion, all the students in the auditorium were on their feet, clapping to the poem's strident rhythm.
No, they weren't.
By the end, the place went crazy. The kids were hooting, hollering, cheering and clapping.
No, it didn't. No one was paying attention.
Now, if
the best bit about that poem was Troy thinking, I've not got a care. When they said, we haven't got a care in the world. Oh, you're about to, Troy, trust me. You twit.
Now, I know if you're listening and you're like, oh shit, I really wanted to read that book. I'm not going to ruin everything. I'm not going to tell you who won the poetry contest. And there is a poem I haven't read. Taylor has a poem in the book. I'm not going to read that because it's not great, in my humble opinion. Poetry in Motion. I actually quite enjoyed it. 3 out of 5.
The whole thing is, I hate it.
Why?
It's just all bad.
But there was music.
There wasn't. There was poetry.
Yeah, but also the basketball one was done to a beat of a ball bouncing, and that is brilliant.
Yeah, that's pretentious, and I hate it. Honestly, can you imagine, right? Any other school, because there's a league. We know there is a league of these schools playing basketball against each other.
Yeah.
Can you imagine coming to play against East High and just being like, "Great, who are we playing this week? Oh, it's like I want to see the film where like the tough kids come to play East High and like Troy and Chad are just like, we're gonna do real good, guys. Let's be a team." And then like just some kid just pounds Troy onto the floor and he's like, "Get the fuck up."
Yeah, and then Troy would get his head in the game and they'd win.
No, Troy would get his head in the game and then the kid would just punch him in the head and he'd go down to the floor again.
No, then that kid would surely get
disqualified. And then Gabriella would go, "Troy!"
She would. And everything would just stop.
That's my favourite bit of that song.
Oh, it's great. It's great, isn't it? That's in High School Musical 3.
Yeah, it's my favourite bit of that film. It might not be. I just like that bit a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, Poetry in Motion. I actually quite enjoyed it. I
haven't read it, but I'm giving it 1 out of 5.
I mean, I feel like I've read you enough of that book that you can fairly review
I've got the gist.
Yeah, I think in future, when I read more of these books, I'm going to deep dive into them because, honestly, that's what you want and that's what the listeners want.
It's not. I think that was about 20 minutes of you reviewing Third High School. It's
at
basically
least.
a culture swap.
Yeah, at least 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Worth it. And honestly,
Sorry,
I think our listeners will write in and say, brilliant, more please.
I've done stuff too, Liam.
What have you done?
I watched Titans.
Which is on Netflix?
Yeah, on Netflix in the UK. I'm sort of confused because it sounds like there's a streaming service that's Warner Bros. Now in America, maybe.
Okay.
I heard people talking about this, but I don't know if that's true or not. It's just something I'd heard.
Okay.
So I'm very confused whether we're just getting it on Netflix and other places aren't.
Yeah, that's possible.
It's so good.
What's it about?
So it's effectively a gritty remake, or a grittier... Well, no, it's a gritty remake of Teen Titans, which is a comic book series from DC. And there was also a cartoon TV series, which was around when we were kids.
Yeah.
I used to love the cartoon. It was so good. But it's basically like... The basic premise of Teen Titans is a bunch of sidekicks or younger superheroes teaming up and forming their own like superhero team.
I think I've seen like images from it where like the animation style that I've seen from something that was I think Teen Titans looked almost like Powerpuff Girls-y.
Yeah, it's very cartoony.
Yeah.
So it's basically Titans is a new version of that. It's another one of those Netflix shows where suddenly I notice it's rated a 15 and I'm like, oh, what's this going to be about? And I love it. Like, I think it's incredible.
Yeah, well, I know.
First episode sold me on it.
Frankie, who is Tom's other half, sent a message saying that she's about to be controversial, but she's enjoying DC's Titans.
Yeah, and I replied saying, holy shit, yes, it's amazing.
Yeah, so it's not just you that's enjoying this. Like,
but I think there has been some kickback online. I'm not sure everyone's loving it.
Fair enough. But yeah, it's rare that everyone loves anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, like it probably helps that Teen Titans I used to love as a kid.
Yeah.
so that probably does help.
Is
But
there anyone of note in it that I'd have heard of?
actors?
Yeah. Oh, I'm asking the wrong person, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. I don't know.
Stupid Liam.
Do I recognise some of them? Maybe a couple, but I wouldn't know what from.
It's better if I just look this up, isn't it?
Yeah, just go on IMDb and tell me if they're famous.
Yeah, alright, bear with me. While I'm doing that, so I keep asking you this, and have you now finished it?
Yes, I have finished it, yeah.
And from what you've seen, it doesn't tie into any of the other DC shows yet?
No, so I don't think it will, because I don't think... Are they Warner Bros? Are the other ones still under Warner Brothers? Like Arrow and Flash?
I honestly don't know.
Neither do I. But from what I've seen so far, it doesn't. They're very careful in the show about not necessarily specifying if it even ties into the film universe or anything, which assumedly it won't. But they also do it in such a way that you could almost see it tying into the film universe, but without them... Like, they don't talk about they don't talk about Batman v Superman or anything.
Okay, yeah.
But they bring up Batman, obviously, because one of the characters is Robin.
Yeah, okay. So,
Dick Grayson
people
Robin,
have note in it.
My favourite.
Nothing major, I don't think. Like, they have been in films and stuff, but nothing that I'm like, oh, this is really... This person is leaping out to me. With the exception of Alan Ritchson, who I only know because he was in Blue Mountain State. He played Thad in that.
Oh, yes, I think I know who he is. I might cut this out. Is he Hawk?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I might vaguely recognise him, and then I can see that would be him.
Yeah, there's Minka Kelly, who was in Friday Night Lights and Parenthood. She plays Dawn Granger.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hawk and Dawn, they're good.
Yeah, so those are the only two faces that, like, looking on IMDb, I'm like, oh, that really jumps out to me.
But it's so honestly, the way this the way this TV show has done stuff is interesting because it's this weird mix of gritty, harsh, like it's pretty violent, and there's also some pretty like mature themes in there that you're like, oh, this is pretty horrendous that this happened to people.
So they've gone like real adult with it. Then.
It's real dark, yeah.
So I guess that would
kids.
Make it hard to tie into the other stuff then, right? Because otherwise,
it
would be like
Arrow and Flash are very. They're not aimed at kids, but they're not being like, oh, that's... Like, Arrow's pretty brutal, but not anything major. He shoots people with arrows.
Tonally, would you say Titans is equivalent to, like, Daredevil?
Yes. I think it might...
Because I'm guessing from what you're describing...
more violent.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's more violent than Daredevil, but there's the stuff that happens in some of the violence is probably more graphic than Daredevil was.
Okay. Because from the way you're describing it, it'd be like them trying to tie, like, Daredevil into the films where just tonally it would not work, right?
Exactly, yeah. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
The only, like, it's not even an issue because I don't mind it, but there's people at work that have also watched it.
Yeah.
And one of them was saying it's weird because you'll be watching it's like Robin's outfit is not too bad. They don't do the, like, tight green underpants Robin.
Yeah.
His suit is quite cool, and he's because he's not a kid in it. He's like 20 or whatever, or 24 or something, and picturing a 24-year-old wearing the Robin outfit is weird.
Yes,
but it doesn't. It looks fine.
Yeah.
Some of the characters, though, not the main lot, but Hawk and Dove,
yeah.
who are two secondary characters, they also have superhero outfits, and theirs look ridiculous.
Okay.
And it is weird seeing it, but then they're in these really gritty, like, some of their scenes are fucked up.
Yeah.
And you're watching them and you're like, this is such a weird thing, seeing, like, a traditional superhero outfit, but then this horrible thing's happening. But that works for me, because I'm like...
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
That's the kind of stuff I like in the comic books, where it's taking the cliche of the original superhero, but then putting them into a situation that you wouldn't have seen them in the olden days.
Yeah.
So it totally worked for me. I loved the whole thing. I think there's a couple of slow episodes in there.
How many episodes in total?
I think it was 10.
Okay, that's not bad.
Or 12.
Is it like 40-minute episodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's one of the ones where, like, I'd get into work and, like, there'd be 20 minutes left of an episode, and then I'd have to at lunch be like, I've got to finish that fucking episode.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I just powered through it and loved it.
Out of 5?
Everyone should go watch it. It's also got Raven in it, who's my favourite Teen Titan. I love Raven.
Out of 5?
4.5.
High score.
And it's also definitely getting a season 2. They already announced they were doing a season 2 before it even aired. It was one of those ones.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not based on whether everyone loved it or not. Yeah. So I still don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that did that, and nothing else really.
Housekeeping.
Keep the house. Keep it all.
So
Just keep the house.
It's mine. No one else can have it. I received a message from Frankie at BrissFrankie on Twitter. She sent me a message. I love her for sending this to me. This is my brand working. It's magic. Frankie, recently, because of how much I talk about Zac Efron on this podcast, went and watched High School Musical 1 to 3 and enjoyed them.
Yeah, but they're fine films.
So Frankie's fantastic. So she tweeted, she messaged saying, "Hey Liam, if you would like a question to answer for the next podcast, would be happy to hear your thoughts on the next Efron film I should check out now I've seen the High School Musical films. Happy for you to talk about all of his films."
No.
We don't have... I mean, I think that would make this episode way too long.
And I'd just cut it out.
But also, recommend from what I currently have available on my streaming services, as I can't purchase any for now. So the films available are...
Don't list them all. Just tell her what film you recommend.
No, because she also wants you to recommend. So you need to know what the options
are. I
are.
only know, like, 3 of his films.
So here's the options. There's We Are Your Friends.
Yeah, that one.
Which we have culture swapped. We did when the Zack Attack guys came on.
Yeah, watch that one.
That is also on YouTube. So if you want to hear our thoughts on that...
Oh, I thought you meant the film was on YouTube, and I was like, don't advertise YouTube piracy.
Our culture swap for that
Yeah.
is on YouTube. So if you want to hear our thoughts, go to that. There's Dirty Grandpa. My review for that is on YouTube.
I've seen it.
A lot of people hated it when it came out.
You don't need to go into it because you're not recommending it.
I might be.
You said your review's on YouTube.
I really enjoyed it.
You just said you didn't like it.
No, I did. That's what I said.
They did. Other people didn't.
A lot of people hated it. I really liked it. But I would be hesitant to recommend it for that reason, just because so many people really did hate it. There was 17 again, which is kind of like... I think this
You're
came
going
out...
into too much detail, and I swear to you, I will cut this out.
I'm just letting you know. I'm giving you hint.
I don't...
information.
Yeah. You're not reviewing every Zac
No,
Efron
I'm not.
film.
I'm
you
giving
can do it in a special. Just breeze through them.
Let me finish this bit.
Just breeze.
I'll breeze through the
them.
rest. 17 again came out, like, I think, between like High School Musical 2 and 3, so it's still like quite young Zac Efron, but not like super young Zac Efron. Then we've got Charlie St. Cloud, which is also from that period of time.
Irrelevant.
Are We Officially Dating, which threw me, but that is a different title. The actual title that like we're aware of that film is That Awkward Moment. Have you seen that one? That was one of you that I thought you might have seen. Okay, then there's The Lucky One, which is when like Zac Efron, where we're like really playing into his heartthrob type thing. It's sort of like based off of like a Nicholas Sparks movie, so sort of like The Notebook and all that sort of stuff, The Vow. And then there's The Paperboy, which is the one where Nicole Kidman does a wee on him.
I've heard about that one.
Yeah. And then Frankie said, "I realise I could just read your letterbox reviews, but would prefer to hear you chat about them, which is why I'm talking about them." She also said, "Not sure if Ellie has seen many. If so, would like her thoughts too. I would say sorry to her for even more Efron talk, but I guess she's well used to it now, just from being your friend."
I am, but that doesn't stop me complaining.
And Frankie said, also, she checked Amazon, and we can add Baywatch to the list of those that she has available.
Oh, fair enough.
Which, I don't know if you've seen or not.
I haven't, but I actually do want to see that one.
So,
but that you've also reviewed on the podcast before.
Yeah. And there's a special on Amanda's podcast where me and Amanda like really deep dived into Baywatch.
So which one of those, Liam, would you recommend?
Well, which one would you recommend first?
We Are Your Friends. It's the only one I can recommend in good conscience because I think it's the only one I'd seen.
Okay, for me, my personal favourite of those would have been Dirty Grandpa, but like I said, lots of people didn't like it, so I would instead recommend 17 again, because Frankie enjoyed the High School Musical trilogy. This is still like Zac Efron from around that era, so I think give that a go. It's got Matthew Perry in it.
Yeah, it's the one where they swap bodies, right?
Yeah. If not, I would say Baywatch, but again, for me, it's Zac Efron, it's The Rock, it's two of my favourite men. A lot of people didn't like it. I loved it.
They're wearing swim trunks, and Liam gets to stare at Zac Efron's body.
And they get all wet.
Honestly, I'm not even joking, listeners. When I said Liam gets to stare at their body, his face, honest to God, just lit up. He was so happy remembering that he could see their bodies.
Also, there's a scene in Baywatch with Zac Efron in drag.
Oh, okay, good.
It's fantastic.
Cool.
So those would be my recommendations. Frankie, if you do go off and watch those, please do write in and let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
Because it's more of an excuse for me to talk about Zac Efron.
Yeah, Liam will love it because it's an excuse to talk. I will like it because it means we've got listener correspondence, which is always good.
Yeah. So I saved one of my catching up withs for housekeeping because we had a lot of correspondence based off of this.
Yeah.
Ellie, last episode you gave me a punishment.
Yes. For listeners that didn't listen, just go listen to it. But Liam failed to get his unwatched movie list down below his target of 1,091.
Yeah.
So he got punished. His punishment was he had to watch 5 films, which I got to pick out of that pile in the order I gave him. And he's done it, I believe.
Yeah, all 5 are now done.
How was it?
Okay, so let's start with Jupiter Ascending. Now, I don't think we got any tweets about that when I watched it, but Amanda did later say to me, I think she tweeted that she really enjoyed that film. It got a bit of a feminist following from what I can understand when it came out.
Wasn't that Amanda was saying it was a good film?
No.
But she was saying it's the best women's representation in science fiction that's ever happened.
Pretty much, yeah.
It was along those lines, right?
She linked me to an article which is titled Jupiter Ascending is the sci-fi film, is the sci-fi movie women were waiting for, and Amanda said, I identify a lot with this article. There were several going around at the time about how the movie was our garbage from women sci-fi fans. They were aware that it was garbage, but it was their garbage. Where have you seen Jupiter Ascending?
No, I'm probably going to watch it.
Alright, so Mila Kunis plays this main character, and it's revealed that she's this princess or something, and she's whisked off on this space adventure. Channing Tatum plays half human, half wolf.
Yeah, is he a space werewolf?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I thought it was just garbage. I'll be honest, I gave it 2 out of 5. Eddie Redmayne's in it, and he just I'm not the biggest fan of him anyway, but he really he goes crazy with the role. He plays the villain in it, and he just chews the scenery like no one's business. Yeah, weren't for me, but Amanda liked it, and Frankie also responded saying, I'm with you on this. I enjoyed it a lot more than I was expecting when I saw it. I still don't get the love for Tatum though. And Channing Tatum is someone that, again, Zack Attack guys have the Magic Mike's podcast. I've been on that to talk about Step Up 2.
Yep.
I like Channing Tatum personally, so I was surprised to see Amanda and Frankie not big fans of his, but still enjoying Jupiter Ascending. So that was my first punishment film. Second one, to the surprise of no one, this got no interaction on Twitter, but it was Laser Mission, which didn't get any...
Actually, you sent me a couple of clips of,
yeah.
And to be fair, I do want to see it.
I think we should watch it together at some point.
Yeah.
That, for me, 2.5 out of 5. Only issue, there were 0 lasers in that film. I don't know why it's called Laser Mission.
Great.
Next, this is the one that we probably got the most interaction. It was Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So
it turns out a bunch of people are very nostalgic about the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, I was tweeting about watching it. Then Dan, that night, ended up buying it on Xbox or something and watching it and live tweeting it, which was just glorious. I really enjoyed following along to Dan's live tweets. We also had Will Powell at Save Us WP. He tweeted us saying, Godspeed, Liam, this film is absolutely awful. In all honesty, that's when Dan then started chiming in, saying, oh shit, there is a place in my heart for this. And Will said, I guess it's a bit like my love for Street Fighter or The Room, so bad it's good. I think Dan doesn't agree with that. I think Dan just thinks it's a genuinely good film.
Well, Dan is broken.
Yeah.
I love the boy, but he's broken.
My response to that was, it is terrible, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
It's to me, so if Amanda's saying Jupiter Ascending is our garbage, Super Mario Bros. Is sort of my garbage. I definitely watched it as a kid.
How? Oh yeah, because you're an Italian plumber in New York.
No, but I mean
fight dinosaurs.
It's the sort of garbage that I can get on board with, is what I mean by that.
Yeah, but that's not what people mean when they say Jupiter Ascending is our garbage. They're talking about it from a feminist viewpoint of there not being much good women representation in sci-fi films.
I would argue that Super Mario Bros. Is not a good representation of the Super Mario Brothers in films.
No, it isn't. And it's also not good. It's not.
No, the thing,
you're not being represented.
Yeah. Okay, I don't identify with it or anything. I just mean
you can't
by
appropriate. Stop appropriating things Amanda says because you get in trouble because you use them wrong.
I do. But okay, let me explain what I mean by that. By that is, I am aware it's garbage, but it's my sort of garbage that I enjoy.
Yes.
There we go.
Don't, just because that sounds similar to what Amanda said, that's not what she was saying. So don't get yourself confused.
Dan tweeted us a lot about Super Mario Brothers. I am not going to read all of his tweets out.
No. Are there any highlights in there?
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot. But what is better is just reading Dan's live tweets of the film.
That's fair, yeah. So just go follow Dan Palmer's live tweets.
Yeah.
From it.
I also apparently need to watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because I haven't seen that.
Yes, I saw that coming up in the mentions there.
Yeah. Okay. Next was Fantastic Four. Did you watch this one?
No, never seen it. I was going to when it first came out, but then it immediately got so much hate backlash that I was like, I'm alright.
I don't think you're my... Right.
I think I will not like it because it's not... Because I like Fantastic Four, the characters.
Fair enough. I liked this because of the cast that were in it. So it's got Miles Teller, who I'm a fan of. And honestly, that's why I own this film, is because I like Miles Teller. It's got Michael B. Jordan, who I'm a big fan of. It's got Kate Mara, Jamie Bell, all these people I like. So I think from what I was reading, the criticism that Fantastic Four was getting is that they don't really get their powers until like an hour into the film. And it's a bit more of a character... I don't want to say character study. That is definitely not accurate. But it is more about the characters and bringing them together and the backstory there. I enjoyed it, I'll be honest. The final act and the big bad and all that sort of stuff, it essentially is debris swirling around a big glowing light in the sky. Like, we've seen that.
Sorry, is it another fucking cloud?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So we've seen that before. But this also came out before a lot of that stuff was happening, because that happened in, Suicide Squad and something else.
But that was how Fantastic Four 2.
Oh, okay.
That was what they fucked up, because they did Galactus as the giant cloud.
Right, yeah, this is probably similar-ish to that, maybe.
Which is that's what surprised me, was that it's another Fantastic Four movie with a cloudish sort of villain.
Yeah. Well, it's Doctor Doom is the one that's creating all this stuff. Honestly,
they never do Doctor Doom, right? I think that's the other reason I won't like it, is because Doctor Doom in the comic books is my favourite Marvel villain. He's so well done, and they've never done him justice on film.
That's fair enough. Honestly, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this. I gave Fantastic Four 3.5 out of 5.
That's quite high.
And then there was The Bye-Bye Man, which also...
Because this was all in descending... I'd sorted your films based on their average rating, and this was the worst one on your list that wasn't like a sequel or one that I was like, oh, I'm not going to give it to him because he'll just be annoyed. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I bought this because I thought there was an actress in it who I liked, and then turns out I got the film wrong.
I think I've watched YouTube descriptions of this film because I was like, I'm never going to watch it.
Yeah. The thing is...
Summary.
The lore behind the villain in it is kind of interesting, but the film doesn't really dive into it. It's just stuff that you kind of I was reading afterwards.
Yeah.
And then the actual execution of the villain in the film is not good. He doesn't look particularly scary. He has this weird CGI demon dog with him, which is just terrible.
Oh, yeah.
The idea behind the film, right, which is that the tagline and the thing that keeps being repeated is "Don't think it, don't say it." As soon as you think of the name The Bye-Bye Man, he essentially comes to haunt you and kill you. And anyone that you've told, it's a bit like there's a good urban legend behind this, I think, or there could be, but it's just it opens interestingly, and I didn't mind it for maybe the first half hour, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. This was the worst film out of the 5 that you made me watch. This was a 1.5 out of 5. Did not enjoy it.
Good. Maybe you'll learn and you won't fuck up this year.
So what's the goal for this year?
Well, Liam, the goal this year was a goal that you set of your own volition.
Yeah.
You need to get below 1,000 films. Last episode, you were like, I've just got to do, I think it was
10 a month.
2 a week?
10 a month.
10 a month. That's it, 10 a month, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, which would get you below that number.
Yeah.
Which is currently 1,122.
Yeah.
We know that number's gone down 5.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
What's the number that you're starting the year off on?
1,115.
Look at you, buddy.
So, to keep on track, I still need to watch another... this month was always going to be harder because the 10 a month would only work if I started at 1,120, and I started, like you said, a bit above that.
Yeah, so you're going to have to catch up in some months.
Yeah, I've got to be on track. I need to maybe watch 5 more this month, and we've still got like a week. It's doable. And then I just need to stay on track and not buy films, which I've done a really good job of this month.
Yes, but you're going to get to the end of the year, and then you're going to fuck it all up.
We'll see.
The best thing about this, Liam, is that my favourite thing you do is setting yourself like a mini goal, because what inevitably happened last year, and we all saw it coming, was you were very confident as you got closer and were getting it down, and the moment you slipped up, your brain does a thing where it just goes, fuck it, I can't do it. Even though the week that you went, I can't do this, you were only like 3 away, and you were like, I can't do it, which was stupid.
I know.
So by setting yourself mini goals, the moment you don't do it this month, like if you don't watch 5 films, I think your brain's just going to go, well, it's fucked, can't fucking do it. And then you'll buy a bunch of films, and then you'll regret it.
So here's what I think, and I can't figure out the right way of doing this, but I actually found you giving me these 5 films to watch quite helpful, because it meant that I didn't have to think about what to watch next. So I don't know if maybe I need like a stretch goal, where like every time I hit my 10 for the month, you then get to give me like a film to watch or something, just so I can just keep on getting this number down. And it also helps me in watching films that I maybe wouldn't choose to watch.
I mean, I'm fine with that if you want me to help with that.
I would like our listeners to write in to see if they can figure out a way where this would actually be helpful, or if you can think of a way this could actually be helpful. But I think there should be something where every now and again you get to pick something that I watch, and I think that might help.
Okay, well, like I said, I am genuinely down for that.
Yeah, but if this does have a better idea of how that could work, I mean, we had some suggestions for what my punishment should be this year that were downright evil.
Oh yeah, the listeners are mean.
The listeners who are also your friends are the meanest.
Love you guys.
There were suggestions that were like, I should destroy movies and never be allowed to watch them in my entire life. That's insane.
I like that idea.
That is insane.
The best thing is, by people giving those ideas, my punishments seem a lot more reasonable.
Yeah, true. Have we settled on a punishment for this year? Is it the anime thing?
I think it was the anime thing.
Okay. Amanda tweeted us saying, pudding is something different in the US. It is a very specific type of dessert of its own. Did you read this out last time? No. Did I? I don't know. You edited the episode.
Yeah, I think you might have.
Are you sure? No, because our New Year episode came out on January the 16th. And this tweet came in on January the 16th.
Oh.
So yeah, we must have discussed pudding in the last episode.
Weird.
Alright, you can cut all that and I'll start reading again.
No, I'm alright.
So Amanda tweeted us saying, pudding is something different in the US. It's a very specific kind of dessert.
Didn't she tweet us that last week?
Of its own. It comes in many flavours, but chocolate and tapioca are my favourites.
Tapioca.
That's not how that word reads in my head.
Tapioca?
The fuck is tapioca?
It's I don't know how to describe it.
Genuinely haven't encountered that word before.
Have you not?
No.
It's a thing.
You know what I'm like with words. I say what I see, and when I see...
I do that.
When I see that, I don't see...
Tapioca.
Yeah. Frankie also tweeted us, @BristFrankie, saying, train announcement happening when I was listening to the podcast made me think Liam said the Christmas Eve tradition with his mum was to go to the local medium, not local Indian. Have to admit, I was a little disappointed when I realised I'd misheard it. And I feel like that is an amazing idea of like every year just taking my mum to a medium and be like, let's just check in on the family that are all dead.
Oh, God. Yep.
Amazing. Okay, we did top 5s last episode. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Amanda tweeted saying, enjoyed hearing your top 5s. How
long we've been recording.
Don't worry about it. Enjoyed hearing your top 5s. I'll likely be watching a lot of your TV list when I'm recovering from surgery and can't do much else. Also, I am one of those feminists who was rage-filled over the fridging of Vanessa in Deadpool 2, instantly knocked the movie down for me.
Fair.
And I tweeted her back and forward a little bit about that, just because I was like, I'm not sure if I explained what fridging was right, and she kind of said it's hard to explain it briefly. Okay. Tom Hogan at the Tomothy tweeted us saying, hope there's a yearly review. Bloody love those yearly reviews.
Yep, Tom had already listened to the episode. I'm not going to fall for these tricks, Thomas.
What?
In the episode, I think we talk about who likes the yearly reviews, and then you were very much like, Tom loves them, so he just tweeted for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like that I'm being portrayed.
Or as the negative Nelly of the podcast, where if the shoe fits...
You're the negative one.
I'm not. You're the one that's always like, oh, look how long we've been recording. Oh, no one likes our top 5.
Listen, it takes me twice as long to edit a podcast as it takes us to record it. So as I watch this number just slowly rise, I'm just sitting there going, yep, cool. I've got to do a bunch of stuff for work and our LGBT group this weekend. That's slowly getting pushed further and further out of the wheelhouse of us doing it. So I'll have to go in on Monday and say, sorry guys, I couldn't do that because my mate Liam decided we were going to do a 3-hour fucking podcast.
Yeah, and then they'll go, oh, what's the podcast? Boom, more listeners. Worth it.
Fucking hell. Carry on.
Amanda tweeted us saying, sorry about the series recommendations that have a ton of movies. I was focused on the 5 or more movies. Didn't realise you couldn't break it up over a few days. Bond would be fun to hear, but you'd probably need a week or so. Oops.
Are you sure we haven't talked about this?
The episode, we tweeted about it on January the 16th. These tweets came in on January the 17th.
It's wild, though, because me and you have definitely spoken about this.
We spoke on the episode about how Amanda was giving us really long series.
No, but I've specifically, we've definitely spoken about some of this.
No.
Yeah,
okay.
we have.
Well, what, offline?
Not on the podcast, maybe, I'm saying, but I've definitely... Because I remember I don't know. Carry on.
I mean, you're the one that spends so long editing these, so you would have heard us talking about this on the last episode.
Yeah, which
when
is
you
why it
edited
worries me that I'm sitting there going, I think I've heard all this before.
Nah. Amanda tweeted, oh, and here's a book recommendation for Culture Swap. Night Film by Marisha Pesci, I think. I like the idea of hearing you both discuss a book. This is one I think you both would like / find a lot in it to discuss.
Add it to the list.
I then tweeted you saying if we have a list, add it to it. So that was an action on you to use my project management speak.
I'm an editor. That's not my job.
Don't care. Cage Club Pod tweeted us. I love this tweet saying, Liam, you're like the British. Let me say that again where I speak right. Liam, you're like the British Paul Shear, enduring unimaginable garbage for one podcast while enjoying classics for another. This is because of the whole Asylum and Criterion Connection podcast. For anyone that doesn't know, Paul Shear, he was in the league, that's where I'm primarily known from. He does a podcast called How Did This Get Made, where he talks about films like The Room, Leprechaun 4. It's a great podcast. And then he's also doing a podcast where he goes through, I think it's the AFI's top 100 films.
Okay.
So similar.
Yeah, got you. Because you're having to suffer through Criterion.
Yeah.
But then you're having like this downtime where you get to enjoy a really good film with Into the Asylum.
I mean, yeah, we'll see about that.
It's alright, mate. Whatever you say, I'm not listening anymore. I turned you off the moment I said that. It's all good.
That's all of our correspondence.
Also, why are you getting all the praise? Whatever. Liam loves doing the housekeeping when he gets a load of praise. It's such a petty little thing.
Oh wait, I do think I think that there was a tweet from Amanda that I haven't read yet. Let me just find it because I think it is important that I read it.
Oh, is it going to be some bullshit about how you're so great?
No. Quite the opposite.
Is it her saying you're shit?
Well,
that seems really mean.
Let me just hang on. I'm trying to just find.
The thing I like about Nerd on Nerd is that we're a smooth running operation.
Yeah, we are. Well, you can edit all this out, can't you?
I won't, because I find it funny when we call out our lame bullshit.
I can't find it now. Basically, Amanda tweeted us being like she felt like she had to make a statement that she likes us both equally.
Oh, I remember that, because I sort of vaguely remember you telling me about it. Again, I'm going to go back and listen to the last episode, and if we mention all this shit, I'm going to be very annoyed. Even though it would be physically impossible for us to have. We must have had a conversation, me and you, about some of these tweets.
Yeah, because I feel like I said, I tweeted saying our episode is here on like January the 16th, and then these tweets have all come in after that.
Yeah.
So maybe the Amanda tweet was from before, where she said...
Possibly. Let's just move on. You can't find it, buddy. I think we joked about it. I think we joked on an episode. I'm sure. Because I'm sure I was like, oh, don't worry, Amanda, we know. I just enjoy that it winds her up.
So yeah, that was everything that we had from housekeeping. Now it's time for Culture Swap.
Swap my culture. What do we do this time, Liam?
This time, we did... I'm pleased you weren't looking then, because I just sort of fell over in my chair as I was trying to push myself up. We did Lumberjanes, Volume 1, Beware the Kitten Holy. You know I like to do this, so you won't be surprised.
Nope, yeah. Credit where credit's due.
I like to do the credits. Written by Noelle Stevenson and Grace Ellis. Illustrated...
Is that Noelle or Noel?
I don't know. Noelle? Is that Noel?
Oh, Noelle, yeah. Noelle.
Noelle Stevenson and Grace Ellis. Illustrated by Brooke Allen. Colours by Marta Liho. Letters by Aubrey Aies. Cover by Noelle Stevenson. Fried Pie exclusive cover by Brooke Allen. Character designs.
Now you're getting too in depth because you don't need to do one exclusive covers credit.
Well, it's in there.
You don't need to read all the credits.
Special thanks to Kelsey Pate for giving the Lumberjanes
don't read
their
out
name.
special thanks.
Can we do the Lumberjanes pledge together?
Let me get it up because I can't remember it.
Alright, so, have you got it?
Yeah.
We are now going to do for you the Lumberjanes pledge, and Ellie's probably going to edit this so we just say it in sync together perfectly.
Yeah, because it's going to be... One of us is going to sound out of sync to the other one, so this is going to be weird.
Alright, ready?
Yeah.
I solemnly swear to do my best every day and in all that I do to be brave and strong, to be truthful and compassionate, to be interesting and interested, to pay attention and question the world around me, to think of others first, to always help and protect my friends. Then there's a line about God or whatever, and to make the world a better place for Lumberjane Scouts and for everyone else.
Beautiful, Liam. I'm sure I'll have edited that together in a way that we don't sound like neither of us know how quickly we're saying it.
I am so sorry to my listeners. That is probably going to sound like garbled mess. What I like about this graphic novel, before we jump into all the spoilers and stuff, I just like how it's laid out. Like, at the front, there's a little section where it says, this Lumberjane's field manual belongs to, and then you can put your name in there, a little space for you to write your name, troop, date invested, there's a little table of contents, just little touches like that I think are quite nice. There's a little bit where it says prepared for the Miss Quinzella Thisquin Penequiqui Thistle Crumpets Camp 4, and then there's a bit that's crossed out and next to it's written hardcore lady types.
Yep.
So I like I like those little attention to details.
Yeah, because it's the graphic novel is laid out like it is at the top of the pages it says Lumberjane's Field Manual.
Yeah.
So it's written like the sort of containing pages that surround the actual comics are written as if it is a field manual that is given out to the Lumberjanes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Also, it's a Will Eisner winner.
Very good.
As an award. So, award-winning comic.
Yes. Now, there will be spoilers.
There will be spoilers. It's had some praise on the back.
Oh my god. Just sometimes, listeners, you ever have it where like you feel like someone's just not listening to you? Like, yeah, and they just completely talk over what you were saying.
No, you said that there will be spoilers.
Yeah, but I don't... That's not what I never just say there will be spoilers.
Okay, carry on.
Listeners, there are going to be spoilers.
Yeah.
So if you want to go read Lumberjanes, go do it.
It's
worth doing. Yes, you should go and read it. I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it, Liam?
I did. Who do you think would most enjoy this?
What specifically?
Well, not like a specific person, like group people together. Like if you're a fan of X,
I don't
you would
label
like
people.
this. Oh,
No,
I do.
I don't like giving people labels.
Oh, I give everyone labels. It makes life so much easier.
You put them in little boxes.
Yeah.
It's in your in your new filing cabinet that your mum got you for Christmas.
Yeah. So I keep all my people.
It's my people filing cabinet.
Like,
who do you think, Liam? What label would you say would enjoy this?
Well, I'm thinking like, it's not like a mature graphic novel, and by that I don't mean like grown up. I mean like it's no blood, violence, gore. None. It's not like Crossed. Very different to Crossed.
Yes.
Very different.
Okay, I can give you a legitimate, like, I think, because I was thinking this before we started recording.
Yeah.
I think people who have seen Adventure Time and shows like that, I think they would really enjoy this.
Yeah.
It's got a very, that kind of feel, but maybe a bit more, because Adventure Time was made for kids.
Yeah. I think this is made for kids, though.
Is it? I don't know if it is. I don't think it's made for kids. I think it's not made for anyone in particular, really. Like, it's not a kiddie graphic novel.
No, I kind of feel like the way when I was reading this, the vibe I was getting is it's the sort of thing that you could read with a kid. Like, you,
Oh yeah,
and
I'm not
talk them
saying
through
it's not for kids,
Yeah.
but I don't think the author sat down and went, "I'm making a graphic novel for kids." But
Yeah.
they might have.
But equally, this definitely isn't like, oh, I'm making this specifically for adults either.
No, I think it's just a very comic-y comic.
Yeah, and I think Adventure Time is a good thing.
Yeah.
Like a good comparison. There's some compliments on the back, so I'll read those out because that might also help give you an idea of who this is for. So Gail Simone said, "Seriously, buy 2 copies of Lumberchains and give 1 to a friend. I am not kidding. This book is aces. You will love it."
Yeah.
So it's good for friends. Wired,
Helpful,
right?
Liam. People
Whimsy,
with friends.
quips, sneaking out of cabins late at night, and butt-kicking brawls. It is, in a word, delightful.
Can I just very quickly point out that you called these compliments?
It is all complimentary.
It's reviews.
They're complimentary reviews.
Just love the idea that you think these are like... It's not like Wired reviewing it. It's just like someone at Wired being like, Hey Lumberjane's author. I really think your book's good.
Yeah, Comic Book Resources complimented it by saying, "All in all, Lumberjanes has utterly taxed my ability to find synonyms for charming. Go pick up a copy of this delightful, spunky, lovable book."
Yep.
So, Noelle Stevenson, who wrote it, was also responsible for writing Adventure Time, apparently.
Oh, well, there you go then.
So, yeah. And then,
That makes so much sense.
Grace Ellis is described as a brilliant newcomer and illustrated by the tremendously talented Brooke Allen. So, more compliments, really. But those weren't
Stop
given by
reading out
someone
compliments.
else.
Can we get to discussing the actual book, please?
Yeah, what do you think?
I hate when you do this.
Why?
Plunge me in the deep end with them. What do you think? It's very, very charming.
Yes.
Like all the compliments were saying.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just like the whole time you're reading this graphic novel,
It's just nice.
it's just good. It's all wholesome. Like,
Ellie,
we should probably talk about what it's about.
I was about to
before we
ask
do
you what it's about.
So it's effectively about this summer camp that is for girls,
Yeah.
called the Lumberjanes, which clearly used to be a very like posh teaching girls to be the stereotypes of girls.
What are the stereotypes of girls?
I don't know, just from the way that the sign is written and what it says on it, isn't it like the thing they've crossed out is what it's all written in fancy text, and it's the Miss Quinzella Thisquin Pennaquin Thistle Crumpington's camp for girls,
Yeah.
or whatever. So it's clearly this very preppy, like,
Yeah.
you've got to be proper ladies, and they don't really cover it in this book, but clearly someone has taken over,
Yeah.
and she's a bit of a fucking badass. Walks around with an axe,
Yeah.
chopping logs.
Yeah.
And she's taken over and is just teaching these girls to be badasses. Not even teaching them to be badasses, just doing good, cool, fun things. Like, every chapter in the book is a specific badge that they either earn in the thing or in some way ties into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because it's not specifically like, we're going to go and get that badge.
No.
Here's the story of how we get it.
Yeah,
But,
so
like,
because
they'll go
in one
and
of the
do an
chapters they
adventure.
already have that badge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, they're getting the up all night badge
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And those are the sort of badges. So it's just like, that badge is all about, you just have to go out of camp and spend a night out under the stars and
So there are descriptions of what these badges entail.
Yeah,
and
that's
there's
the
a
up all
lot
night
more.
one. The up all night one is they have to go out, they have to be outside of the camp and enjoy the it specifically says at one point you have to, like, stare up at the sky.
Yeah, you have to... Right, I'm going
To
read
obtain
it.
the up all night badge, a lumberjane must have enjoyed the sunset on a cool, crisp
There
afternoon
we
with
go.
a group of cherished friends.
Yeah.
She must have walked under the canvas of the stars and enjoyed their beauty while going where curiosity takes her.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That's what I said.
No, you said she has to stay up all night. There's nothing about curiosity or
It's called
beauty.
the up all night badge.
She must have enjoyed the first wind of a new day with
Yes.
the moon above her head and without
So you
sleep.
have to have been up all night.
Energetically explored the new possibility of viewing the world under a moon. And her final step to obtaining this particular badge is she would have had to enjoy the sunset of the new day surrounded by her friends.
Yes. So you have to have been
Up all night with some friends,
Yes.
energetically exploring and gazing at the beauty of the sky.
But that's just the basic premise of the story, though. Is that
I'd be shit at getting that badge.
Huh?
I'd be shit at getting that badge.
I'd have got it twice over.
I can't see in the
I'd have had
dark.
the up 2 nights in a row badge.
How would I have explored the beauty of the dark when I can't see in it?
Oh, that's true.
It would be
Thanks
hard.
for making it depressing, Liam.
That's all right.
So that's the like base story, but basically you're following a group of 5 friends. Joe, who's this like the leader of the group.
Yeah.
Like this
probably the more
cool,
mature one, maybe.
Yeah, she's a bit more mature. Seems very, kind of like cool and tough.
Yeah,
but not necessarily the like fighting one. She's just
oh no, because Ripley is the fighting one.
Yeah, well,
Ripley's my favourite.
Ripley is like this wild thing,
and just always so enthusiastic about everything.
Yes,
that's what I love.
Ripley's. I think I'm pretty positive in this graphic novel it says that she's the youngest of the group, but Liam didn't necessarily remember that, but I think it did.
Yeah,
but she's just like this wild. Punches things and
she's
kind of does whatever she wants and is a bit rebellious, but is also very adorable.
Oh, she's so good, isn't she?
Like, who is it that she? Isn't it one of the like counselors or something that she's just? Oh, so they've got. I'll get onto it in a minute. You've also got Molly and Mal, who are potentially lesbians. I think they're lesbians.
It's
but
sort of implied in like one.
They've got a little
page.
Crush. They've got a little crush. It's more than that. It's one of the comics. They're having moments together.
It's the one where after the whole sea monster thing, right?
It's when they're solving all the puzzles. There's a Molly saves Mal, and they have a couple of moments throughout that issue.
Oh, I thought it starts with the sea monster. I thought.
Yeah, but then I'm saying there's a whole graphic novel that goes through.
Oh, okay. Maybe
I'm pretty positive they have a bunch of moments in there where you're sitting there like, oh, I think these two have a little bit of a thing for each other. And then I think even April calls it out at one point. Well, she doesn't specifically, but I don't think she specifically goes, "You two are in love."
April's
I think she's
brilliant.
like, April's great. So April is this redheaded.
Oh
chick.
yeah, with Molly and Mal. Like Mal hurts herself like helping Molly out of a.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a couple of moments throughout it.
Got it. Yeah.
One of them is very good at. One of them sort of. I think Mal is she's a bit more nervous and doesn't necessarily like doing these sort of dangerous things.
Mal reminded me of you a lot.
Thanks.
No, not because of that. Because Mal also has issues with things being under the water that you can't see.
Yes, she does. Yeah, I am the Mal of the book.
Yeah.
Whereas Molly is like, I don't know. I think she's still a bit wary, but she's also more adventurous.
Yeah.
Like she'll go and do crazy stuff.
And then you've got April, who's my second favourite.
Yeah, April is just this redheaded girl who is
she's a complete badass. Yeah.
She's just totally badass. And I don't know what... Like, I literally just flicked to a page. Every panel, April's just doing something badass. Yeah. Like, in the river monster bit, she's riding with Joe. And she just... There's a little panel of her holding an oar above her head.
Yeah.
Just going, yeah, we are here. And she's just got this little tough face, like, yeah!
Yeah.
She's great. Oh, it's so good. I love this whole book. But basically, that's the, like, basic premise is they're on a summer camp together. They've got their camp counselor, Jen, who wants to follow the rules... but maybe hasn't caught up with where the new rules are of the Lumberjanes and is a bit more like, oh, you shouldn't be out at night and doing all these dangerous things. And when these kids go out, monsters and shit attack them.
All with, like, 3 eyes.
Yes, there's a theme of these, like... So they get... In the first comic, they get attacked by 3-eyed foxes.
Foxes, yeah.
And beat up most of them. Molly does spend a whole panel rubbing one's stomach, which I love. It's trying to eat her. She kicks it in the stomach a lot. It then gets very tired, rolls over, and she just plays with it on the floor.
Yeah, I love that as well.
Yeah, and then there's like a whole thing where they do defeat one, and then it drops like a golden ring, and there's clearly this whole mysterious like supernatural side going on in these.
Yeah, you
comics.
got that whole. That's where the Beware the Kitten Holy first gets introduced.
Yeah, which is the name of the graphic novel.
Yeah, the art style of this is interesting, I think. Because it's like, I don't know how to describe it.
It's minimalist.
Yeah.
On the actual characters, but then like the backgrounds and stuff are quite detailed and...
Yeah, I do like the art style, but it's...
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's unusual for comics, I think it's quite accessible.
Yeah, it feels almost like Cartoon Network-y, Nickelodeon-y.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, it's just so good. I don't even know how to talk about it, Liam, because I enjoyed it so much.
It is great. There's just great amounts of humour in it, and so... I've spoken to Kat about this comic, right? And she was like, no, I don't want to read it. I don't like the art style in it, which is fair enough. But then I made her read my favourite page of it, and it made her laugh out loud.
What is your favourite page?
Can you guess?
Is it the one that you said at the beginning before we started recording?
Yeah. Where so the girls stumble across this scout camp with all male scouts.
Yes, which is the reverse of their camp almost.
Yeah.
Where, although So it's like this is clearly meant to be the boys' camp where they're doing the things that the Lumberjanes are doing.
Yeah.
All the boys are very into like
cleaning,
being polite
cooking,
and etiquette and doing tea, and their camp leader is just this big manly man.
Yeah, with an eye patch and just like hench. He enters the comic by kicking a door in and saying, "What the bejabbers is going on here? I thought I heard a tea kettle. Pathetic." And then one of the boys responds, "But we've got company," and he says, "Girls, ew," which I love. And then so he goes up to Jen and he says, "Why are you in our camp, women folk?" And Jen says, "We fell into some poison ivy." He says, "That was stupid," which I love. And then he leaves the scene by kicking the door open again and saying, "I am going to catch a fish by wrestling it away from a bear." He's just that. Honestly, it's so good.
It is. The comedy in it is great.
Yeah. It's got comedy. It's got like weird, like supernatural elements. Like at one point they have to arm wrestle a statue.
Yes, which April does, doesn't she? And she's just
obviously a badass about it. I recommend this because I thought you would enjoy it.
I did. I loved it.
And it also there is like a real strong feminist theme running through it. I don't really know enough about feminism, but I think
it's not even. I don't know if feminism's even the right word. It's just empowering.
Yeah,
because it's not doing the stereotype where it's forcing people into different categories and being like, oh, the boys are the rough and tumble, like go out in the woods.
Yeah, and also like
instead it's like
every now and again they exclaim like a name, like Joan Jett is a name that's exclaimed.
Yes,
it
is kind of feminist. Yeah,
yeah, because there's a few names there, and some of the names I don't recognise, but I'm assuming they are feminist icons,
just badass women who are yeah.
So yeah, there is a strong feminist theme throughout it, but it's not preachy.
No, because it's not being like fuck dudes, women are the best. It's just being like, yeah, girls can go and do all this badass stuff and
friendship to the max.
Friendship to the max. Can I just tell you what my favourite page is? Liam?
Please do,
because I love it so much, and I'd forgotten about it until I just saw it.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where they're trying to get in this mystical tower, which is guarded by yetis.
Yeah.
Which are like, they have very curly moustaches, but other than that, they are just yetis.
Yeah.
And the way they eventually get into the tower is Ripley, the little sort of crazy one, has stolen a bag of cookies from the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Hey jerks, let us in your tower and you can have all my cookies." And there's a panel of her looking at her cookies, and then she says, "You can have some of my cookies," which I love so much. She's like, "Yeah, you can have these and we'll get in."
This is why Ripley's my favourite.
She is great.
It really is. Like, I love how like a couple of pages before that, you have Joe saying to Ripley, "How many cookies did you take?" And Ripley's just like, "All of them."
Yeah, of course.
It's so good. Ripley is 100% my favourite.
Yeah, I think April's my favourite.
April is a very close second for me.
And then probably Joe.
Yeah, it's such a delightful comic as well.
Yeah,
and it's left on a cliffhanger, so I'm really keen to read what happens next.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing. I love the like mystery behind it all.
Yeah,
like we've had in the first graphic novel, you get nothing explained of why any of this is happening.
Oh, yeah, I think even by the end, you don't really know why it's happening.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant, the whole graphic novel.
Oh, yeah. So I think you meant like the first like issue.
No, I meant
Beware the Kitten Holy. You do find out that is an anagram.
Yes, yeah. They find a room. They go to this underground cavern where they have to solve all these different tests.
Yeah.
Which is the arm wrestling a statue.
Yeah.
Doing the Fibonacci sequence as they skip across these stones.
Yeah.
And then the final bit is there's all these anagrams on the wall, and they realise that Beware the Kitten Holy is an anagram for something. Oh,
in the tower by the lake.
Yes.
Yeah. It also has another one of my favourite Ripley moments where there's an anagram that says pee on seams, and they're like, "We've got to find a way out of here first." And Ripley responds with, "Maybe we should pee on some stuff."
Yes.
And that's when Molly figures out, "Nope, open sesame."
Yep.
I just like Ripley is just always so enthusiastic about everything.
Yes.
And that is what I love and relate to.
It's just great. I also love, like, the fact that they've also got this camp counsellor, Jen, the one that's trying to sort of stick to the rules, who you're sort of, I don't know, in the first few issues, I was like, oh, they're setting her up as not the baddie, but like she's messing with the plans.
Yeah.
But then, like, when they go to the Boy Scout camp, Jen stands up for them and is shouting at the big boss man of the Boy Scouts. And then there's a scene where all the boys in the boy camp suddenly go like violent crazy and try and attack them. And Jen's just like, oh, I thought you were making up all the supernatural stuff, but this is real. And I was like, that's cool. Like, usually that would be like a running theme throughout the whole thing.
They are very welcoming to have her like involved in their little group as well.
Yeah, because it's all about just being friends, and you just got to be nice to everyone. I love it.
Another bit I love is when the Pungeon Master badge gets awarded.
Of course, you liked that. It is very good though.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's. I think the good thing about this as well is, like we were saying at the start, because it is so accessible for all ages. I think it is 100% like a good sort of thing to introduce like younger readers to graphic novels.
Oh yeah, definitely. This would get them into it.
Yeah, definitely. Particularly, I think as well. Like, you might disagree. This might be too much like assumptions or whatever. But I would say generally the idea behind graphic novels are that, especially for kids, they are more oriented towards boys with all the superhero stuff and all that kind of thing. And I would say this is a good way of kind of like giving girls an in to that world.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of graphic novels that are superheroes and aren't necessarily...
Yeah, like Squirrel Girl, and there's loads, but... What? What?
You're making me want to hit you.
Why?
Squirrel Girl is not... I love Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's not the best example of...
What's a better example?
Women. Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, true.
Maybe not old school Wonder Woman, where it was a bit more sexist. I believe her weakness was if a man held her, she lost all her powers. If she was restrained by a man.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Bit of an issue, but they got past that.
Good.
But yeah, like, there's other stuff out there. But yeah, this is a very... I would recommend that girls of all ages just read this graphic novel and be like, yeah, we can be badasses. Cause...
Yeah.
And then we'd beat the shit out of Liam.
Why me?
Tie him up and kill him. What?
Why me?
You're the patriarchy.
Yeah. Women. You should
be... That little pathetic was great.
Indoors, women, doing the things that the man says. Is that what the patriarchy is about?
I think so, yeah.
Glass ceiling. Boom. Big fan.
There we go. Yeah, that works.
I don't understand the patriarchy.
Hey, listeners, don't cut that out and use it as an audio snippet for Liam, because you know he was joking, but you could cut that out and it would sound like he wasn't, and that would be mean.
Yeah. But, like, the Queen is
okay,
important.
Well, now we're moving to a different topic.
No, like, matriarchy, right? You can't get more matriarchal than the Queen.
No, that's true, but also the royals don't have a whole lot of power. We don't need to get into the politics of this. Just talk about Lumberjanes.
I really liked it.
Yeah, so your favourite's Ripley. My favourite's April/Joe.
Yeah. I like all of them, don't get me wrong. I think
they're all amazing.
The only one that I think doesn't get enough chance to shine in this, and she still gets moments, but is maybe like the most underwritten in this issue, is probably Jo.
Yeah. I love her because I love her attitude.
Yeah.
She's like the very, not stoic, but just like...
Just gets on with it.
Very level-headed. Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, this thing's happening, let's just solve it.
Yeah.
And I hope they go into... Well, I know that they do go more into her because I maybe found out a spoiler today that made me love her so much.
So if that's... I don't think I've got enough volumes to get up to that spoiler. Because you said it was in like issue 17, right?
Yeah, issue 17. So yeah, it's quite far in.
Yeah, and this was what, like 3 or 4 issues in this one volume?
Yeah.
4, so 4, 8, 6... Oh, I've got 4 volumes.
4, 8, 12...
Oh no, I just missed out, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Tits.
But yeah, so I'm definitely going to carry on reading these because I at least need to get to that bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only one I've read, and then I brought the other 3 volumes because I enjoyed this one so much, and I got distracted reading other stuff, and then it got so far down that road that I was like, I would need to reread volume 1 before I go back and do the others. But now that I've read volume 1, I think I'm going to try and get at least the others that I own read pretty quickly before I forget what happened. Because a lot happens.
Yeah, it's very,
Yeah.
It's pretty full on with the what happens and the not explaining what happened.
Yeah, and like I said, it ends on a big cliffhanger. So I imagine if you leave too long and then you try and jump into the second volume, it's why I wish graphic novels had like just a page that was like a previously on type thing.
Some do.
Yeah, but I wish all of them did.
Okay.
Like TV shows do it, so I think graphic novels should do it.
Oh, don't you hate it when you're like watching a load of shows at once though and it does the catch up? It's why I'm glad that Netflix and Amazon have a skip catch up.
I still like because the reason why I like it, right, is because to me it's like, oh, so these are the things that are going to be important in this episode. Like if there's a lot of different storylines going on.
But I've got like a working brain, so I just skip that bit.
And
usually pick it up.
No, my brain's like a circus. Exactly. I've got too much going on in my brain, I think, is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't think that's the issue, mate.
I think it is. What would you give Lumberjanes Volume 1, Beware the Kitten Holy, out of 5?
4.5.
That is high. I'm going to go with 3.5. I super enjoyed it. There's not really a lot I didn't like, but I want to get to know...
women, so...
Well, there's that, and I want to get to know more of the characters. And I think, as much as I love Ripley, I want to get to know the characters better.
Yeah.
And
I assume it'll get to that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was so much story going on that there wasn't a whole lot of time for, like, character development unless it naturally tied into, like, the action pieces of the story.
And I know I just did the joke where I say, and that's what Liam's all about something that he's not about, but Liam does prefer character development traditionally. That's one of Liam's, like... I don't know why I'm saying that is if you're not here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Sometimes I just talk to the listeners and it's weird that I do that.
No, I do it too. A lot. Well, I try and get
guys,
the listeners
Liam's just
involved.
such a dick. Why do we let him on this podcast?
So you kind of like shut me out and talk to listeners, whereas I try and involve the listeners.
Yeah, sometimes I just talk to them and not you.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry about that.
To me or the listeners?
Didn't make it clear, did I?
Nope. Next time, we're joined by 2 very special guests.
It's the dream team.
Is it?
Don't know.
Next time, if you enjoyed our feminist discussion on Lumberjanes, make sure you come back because, oh boy, I'm outnumbered.
Listeners, this gives you a little insight into Liam's mind and how he thinks feminism works. The idea of just having 3 women on a podcast makes Liam think it's a feminist takeover.
It is. The matriarchy is coming.
He genuinely looks a little bit scared there.
I'm going to have to be so careful with what I say because
no, you aren't.
No, at the moment, if I say something cheeky, you're like, "Oh, Liam," but we all know he's joking. Whereas next time, if I say something cheeky, I've got you being like, "Oh, Liam." I've got Kat being like, "Shut the fuck up," and I've got Amanda being like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, we've got Kat and Amanda coming on.
Yeah, sorry, we should have made that clear before I started going off on one. So,
Kat, Liam's other half.
It's our 9-year anniversary tomorrow.
And you thought a good present would be that she gets to come on the next episode of the podcast.
Yep. And she's never like properly spoken to Amanda before, like voice.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how their interaction plays out. I'm going to be very quiet next episode.
For fuck's sake.
Listeners, if Ellie's your favourite, next episode's the one for you because I'm not saying a peep. That's
Liam
a complete
will say
lie.
peeps.
I will
he
say
won't
loads.
be able to resist.
I'll have like films to review, hopefully.
Yeah. What have they suggested we do, Liam? What's their choice for Culture Swap?
Oh, it's a feminist classic.
Yeah.
Again, no, I think there is a strong feminist from what I've seen so far.
I don't know if in fact, but it's an empowering one. Yeah.
Yeah. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. We're doing the first season that's on Netflix and the Christmas special that came out. Christmas, obviously.
It's bullshit because it shouldn't be feminist for a show to have an empowered woman in it. That shouldn't make it feminist. That should just be, yeah, of course. That's the issue, I think. It shouldn't be feminist.
No, I agree, but I think Sabrina does... I think the difference is, I would say, with take Buffy, for example, you can read feminism into it, but that is just an empowered woman. Whereas I think with Sabrina, they deliberately emphasise more of the, like... that they make the feminism more of a point in it. I think, from what I've seen so far.
Well, we'll talk about it
next
next
time.
time.
It's not overbearing.
We're going to talk about it next time.
With Amanda and Kat. If
Very
you
good.
have any thoughts on anything we've discussed in this episode, did you enjoy hearing all about Poetry in Motion?
No.
That wasn't to you, that was to the listeners.
But yeah.
Did you enjoy hearing about Lumberjanes? Have you read Lumberjanes? Do you now want to read Lumberjanes? You can let us know by tweeting us at nerdonnerd.
Yep, you can email us.
nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com.
Facebook us.
facebook.com/nerdonnerdpod.
Yep. You could comment on our YouTube.
Yep, just search Nerd on Nerd.
Because you'd have to wait a year for the relevant video to come out. But
but if you comment on it, I will discuss the comment.
yeah, but it'd be weird if they're
It
commenting
would
on,
be
like,
weird, yes.
Daredevil Season 1 review. I really liked the Lumberjanes.
It would be weird. We're catching up with YouTube. We're up to episode like 55, I think.
No one gives a shit.
I do. I give lots of shits. We're getting there. That's what you have to worry about.
We are.
I'm struggling though. I can't get like ahead of it at the moment. I keep like falling really far behind. Well, not behind.
Don't Don't fall behind.
No, I've not fallen behind. I've so far I've hit my schedule every day, but I used to have like a good 2 week like lead on it,
Yeah.
and I've been like literally like the weekend before uploading the next week's content, and I just can't get ahead of this train at the moment. It's doing my
Well,
nut
you'll
in.
get there, buddy. I believe in you.
You can rate and review us on iTunes.
Yep.
We're on Spotify now as well, apparently.
I haven't checked if we actually have gone up. I really should, because I applied us to it fucking a week ago.
Maybe ignore what I just said there then.
I've searched Nerd on Nerd and I can't see us. I'm going to have to look into this.
Just
we should
cut
be
all
on there,
that.
listeners.
Cut all
If
that.
we're not on there, email them.
Cut all that. We're professional podcasters.
Wank.
We're not. We're amateur. This is just proof that we're amateur.
Bullshit.
Any final thoughts?
I solemnly swear to do my best every day and in all that I do, to be brave and strong, to be truthful and compassionate, to be interested. Fucked it up. That's it.
Bye.
Bye.